Drivers, start your engines!
Ready. Green flag, green flag. All rolling. All the way out. Stay in, stay in. Come on. Bye-bye, run in. See you later. These guys are really good. Keep digging. Stay in the gas. Hang on, dude, baby. Did not hit a thing. Why are you waiting so long, man? Bottom for clear, shaking you down here. White flag. Hit your mark.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I'm your host this week, Eric Estep, joined by our usual panel. We've got Darian Gilliam off here to stage left, Jarrett Lundberg, also known as the Iceberg here, stage right. Or I guess this is audience right. I'm pointing to stage left. Forget about it. Danny B is down here, caddy corner, and we've got a very special guest, Jet MDK is joining us this week. Also, the creator of that very exciting, very snazzy intro you all just watched or heard if you're listening on audio platforms. Jet, appreciate you being here with us tonight. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Had an exhausting day, but this is a nice way to cap off the night with y'all. So I'm looking forward to it.
We've got so much to get to. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate all of our viewers and listeners hanging out with us live in the YouTube chat. We've got lots to get to, but I want to remind everyone that tonight, if we hit 500 likes on this YouTube stream, we will unlock Jarrett's special mystery driver of the week segment. Darian speed ran it last week. I forget who the driver was. He got it in like 3 questions.
Yaley. JJ Yaley.
JJ Yaley, that's right. So hopefully Jarrett's able to stump us. He doesn't usually have any issues stumping me and Danny, but Darian the last couple weeks has been on a hot streak. And maybe Jet can play spoiler this time around. So looking forward to that. Again, appreciate everyone being here. Let's kick things off with Phoenix Raceway. The abbreviated West Coast Swing is now over. Darian, you're already being put to sleep. Come on, the race was 3 days ago. You should be out of the coma by now.
I know. I don't know what's going on, man. I know I should be out. I should be 100%, but I'm just not yet. So I guess I'll start off with it. It was the exact same as last year. It felt like it's so predictable. Toyota just runs away with it, just dominates, led damn near all 300 laps. Insane. Now, you did have comers and goers. I get all that. And yes, on the surface, it is a typical Phoenix race, but the biggest headline was the drivers setting the tone for the weekend, saying, oh yeah, these changes, it drives the exact same, damn near all across the board. That set the tone for the weekend, unfortunately. Okay. Now, yes, if you want to go, if you want to break down the race, stage by stage, then yeah, it's a typical Phoenix race. But, with these changes and stuff, I was expecting just to see a little something, just a little more progress. And I feel like we're going nowhere with this right now. Yes, it's only one race, but remember last year we said, well, Phoenix isn't the real test. And then look what happened. So, but just a reminder, though, they're not racing this package at Bristol or Dover. So we have to wait until Martinsville, I believe, to see this package again. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But I don't know. It's not a great start, though. Not a great start.
I mean, it was a typical Phoenix race for sure. I think in some ways you can chalk up the issues, if you will, with the racing on Sunday to just Phoenix being Phoenix. It's always been difficult to pass there. I actually thought you could move around and make a few more moves this time around than you could most of last year, but nobody could pass like the 20 car could pass on the long run. Jarrett, were you surprised at all that Toyota dominated this race, considering this hasn't really been a Toyota track in recent seasons? It's been more of a Ford specialty, I'd say.
No, and I'm surprised to say no, even though I did pick a Ford team, which it did at least help me in that regard. The Toyotas were fast in testing, and like Jordan Bianchi said, and like a couple others said, they don't normally pump their chests and rah, we're the best and all that. And they were basically on a victory lap for the off season into this point. And if they are, the thing I'd be worried about if I'm the competition is if they are, especially the 20 and the 54 teams are that far ahead already and that fast, how good are they going to be at Phoenix in November? How good are they going to be later in the year when they've figured out this car fully? Like that, this, as much as this race to me, I didn't really I didn't think it was as awful as everyone's saying, like 1 out of 10, whatever. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 10 when I ranked it.
That's
you know,
fair.
again, a little below average, basically what we expect for Phoenix. But learning that early on, what, you know, the teams to beat are going to be when it comes to getting to Phoenix, I think that is huge. And I think it's crucial for a lot of teams to kind of gauge where they are.
Yeah, I think everyone expected Toyota to eventually be good this season, but to see them fire off so strong at Phoenix so soon, like Chevy in a way had a head start because they've worked with this Camaro for over a year now. Ford's got a new Mustang, Toyota's got a new Camry, so they should fire off fast. And they did. Chevy won the first 3 races. Toyota stank up the show on Sunday, race 4. That's concerning going forward. Jet, what did you make of Toyota's dominance? Is there anything we should take from that, or is it still too early to say for sure?
On one side, it's, I think, still a bit too early because we're only 4 races in, and this is one of the first, short track / 1 mile tracks, however you want to call it, type of races. So I don't know if I would bank too heavily on it, but at the same time, considering the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if Toyota created this new Camry for Phoenix. And they developed this car during the off-season testing. I wouldn't be surprised they developed that for Phoenix. When you look at previous championship 4 races, they've either won by a Chevy or a Ford driver, not a Toyota driver, at least during the championship 4 round. So one side, I would be afraid if I was Ford or Chevrolet, but at the same time, we've seen this happen in the past where a manufacturer, they get a leap, but by the summer, heading towards the playoff season, you start to see their competitors start to get back to their level. So I would just keep it in the back of our heads. I wouldn't, say, oh man, Phoenix, better hope a Toyota driver in the championship 4, but I would just keep it in the back of my head. If a Christopher Bell or maybe a Martin Truex Jr. or a Denny Hamlin, just keep it in the back of your head that, hey, we'll see what happened here in spring. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens here in the fall. So I would just keep it in mind, but I wouldn't have this as a foregone conclusion on what November is going to look like.
It is. I think you made a good point, though, about Toyota maybe designing this car with the flat tracks in mind, because Toyota's last championship came in 2019 when it was still Homestead as the finale. So since Phoenix became the finale, Toyota's had no issue getting to the championship 4, but it's been 2 Chevys and now 2 Penske Fords that have won the 4 most recent championships. That is actually a great point. Phoenix may be their best style of track. We may not see that dominance the rest of this year. Danny, I want to bring you in here real quick. Christopher Bell specifically was the star of the show. Did he surprise you? Did he impress you? Kind of getting some redemption for blowing a brake rotor in November?
No, not really surprised. I mean, I guess he wishes it would have happened last year at this point, but can't do much about that now at this point. But happy for David, always in our chat, that his son went ahead and got a win early on to start the year. So good for him. I think that put him at his 7th career victory. So that kind of puts him in there. Last time I remember seeing, I saw something that said of the active drivers, Alex Bowman, who had 7 wins, was like ranked 10th on the win list of current drivers. So that would put him there as well. And so he's top 10 now at that point. So definitely good, and definitely sure he'll get a lot more after this one.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, 7 wins is probably good enough for about 10th, especially now that like Harvick has retired. Harvick
retiring got Bowman up to top 10.
Yeah,
that's very
and
interesting.
also, he's been, Bell's one of those guys that you're just expecting to break out right now. And I feel like, him getting a win this early into the season, was this the earliest he's won a race in his career?
I want to say I got a super chat earlier, which I really appreciate the super chats and the support. We will get to those at the top of the hour during the super chat stage break. Napa Racing Fan earlier said this is Bell's earliest win. And it came with that. It didn't require a rainbow caution.
Exactly.
It's supposed to did he win Daytona?
So that's what it is. 2021 Daytona road course. He did win that
That's
race.
Right.
But
right.
It required the rainbow caution.
But this was a straight up victory. And, the strategy was a bit odd, though, because after he pitted, it was pretty obvious if it stayed green, he was going to win the race. And he did win the race. So he brought it home. I still think if you ask him his thoughts on the package, he will give you his very honest answer. But he won the race. So, yeah, you don't want to do all that, right?
Yeah,
so
I've seen drivers, win a race, but hated what they were driving.
Exactly. But yeah, I think this is his breakout year, though, to end it all.
Yeah, well, I don't like. I don't like saying this is his breakout year because he's been to back-to-back championship fours. Like he
Yeah.
hasn't had like a 5 or 6 win season yet.
Well,
Maybe that's
that's what
this
I
becomes.
mean. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
because
a Byron season, but instead of having a bunch of middling seasons before it, he's having a bunch of, really good seasons. He's basically like having, I don't know, who would be a good driver that you could say is even to what Bell has done so far? Because I feel like Blaney would be a good one.
And
now
Denny Hamlin the last couple of years has been very close to, like, just the last couple of years, they win a couple of races each. They've been to, I don't know, Hamlin hasn't even been to a championship for the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, just Bell and this 20 team, just when it comes to just making the championship four, they've done enough the past couple of years to make it in. But I feel like, now we're going to see, a little bit of, extra wins being added on top of that now. So we'll see. And hey, this is the championship race too. So a third straight championship four appearance. Hey, he's looking like a pretty good favorite right now.
Yeah. I just think this narrative of Christopher Bell being some sort of underdog, I like they mentioned it on the Netflix show. He had the really good line.
Was I?
Yeah, like that's a great line, but also what the hell? Why wasn't Christopher Bell part of the plan? He was in the championship for the year before. Like
he's driving Joe Gibbs equipment. That
exactly.
Should be
well, that. I guess I have a theory. I guess just because of who his teammates are. You got Denny Hamlin. That's
maybe what it is.
You got Truex.
He's
Truex
third,
Jr., the former
third
champion.
wheel, I guess.
Exactly. And then for a long time there, Kyle Busch was there for a while. So he was always the fourth wheel for a little bit there. But now that Ty Gibbs is the fourth wheel, now it's time for him. For him to shine now, for Bell to have his moment in the sun.
Ty Gibbs is the new fish on the block, I guess.
Yeah, but hey, he ran well though too. So hey, it's good to be a fourth wheel at Joe Gibbs right now.
I'm laughing at the most recent super chat. That's gonna be weird to hear you read her.
We'll see. I'll skim it. Thank you all for the super chats. We will get to those at the top of the hour. Jed, I want to bring you in here again as we talk about some of the other top finishers. I went on the record a week ago saying that I was a little bit worried about RFK Racing because they kind of struggled at the Chris Buescher especially struggled at the super speedways. That was their forte. And then they both had issues or didn't get finishes at Vegas. They were way down, buried in the points. But playing the strategy right, both Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher scored top fives. What do you make of Roush's start to the season?
Well, part of me isn't surprised because I feel like with RFK Racing, especially Chris Buescher, I feel like he's always been the guy that kind of just waits in the wings. He doesn't really go out dominate. He kind of just waits for his time, and then it kind of falls into his hands, and he executes. So, and same thing with Brad Keselowski. There are some races that you don't hear about them at all, and here they are at the end of the race. They're up in the top 10, or they're running strong, whatever the case may be. So, I'm not surprised by that. I've always had a feeling that RFK would show up. Like you mentioned, they struggle on the super speedways. We're still 4 races in, and this is, I would consider, the second real race of the season. So, I feel like, I don't know if I should say this, but I feel like it should come to a point now where I think we should expect the 6 and the 17 to at least be in the mix somewhat. I don't think they're at the level where they will have like what Bell had. They won't have these like dominant runs where they're up front all day, but I would always say expect them just to be in the mix near the end, whether it's for a top 10, top 5. They're always going to find a way, if everything works out, to get themselves in to have a good finish. So, to say that be worried or anything like that, I wasn't surprised by it.
Fair enough. Yeah. And they're going to one of their best tracks at Bristol Motor Speedway and recently. And also good job. Mike definitely sounded a lot better there, Jed. So
I try to do it on a stand. It doesn't work, so now I got to hold it like this all day.
Hey, that's cool. Like a lead singer style. That looks cool.
Yeah, there you go. But Brad Keselowski really needed that top 5, definitely, for sure. After really struggling the first few races.
I want to look at the points real quick while you're talking.
Yeah. And especially before he goes to probably one of his better tracks, Bristol, this weekend.
Exactly. But no, RFK, that's why I was so shocked that Brad Keselowski was so far down in the points this early in the season, because now RFK, they're not that surprise team anymore. I'm expecting them to pull off these top 5 runs,
Yeah, I was just looking. Buescher gets into the 16th spot in points now after that top 5 finish, and Brad K is 22nd. So certainly within striking distance after a couple bad weeks in a row.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not bad.
I'll say this about the points side of it. If I can find my little gizmo here on it. I'm surprised actually how early on it's kind of spread out towards the top. Like, of course, you got the guys who are towards the middle, like Bowman, Bubba, Cindric, and Buescher inside. And then you got the giant scrum outside of it. But already Blaney is over a race worth of points in, plus 67, Truex plus 57. Reddick, this is night and day difference from last year. He's tied with Ty Gibbs. They're both plus 41. Hamlin and Chastain plus 40. So there's, I know a lot of people be like, it's too early to talk about points and points don't matter, but positioning yourself this early. I remember a quote from Dale Jr. about this is that it's so important in the first 9 races, basically Daytona to Talladega, to position yourself in that top brass, because you can afford a mistake or 2 mistakes, or if you're in that range, those 2 or 3 in or the 2 or 3 out, you are going to be stuck in that range for the rest of the regular season going into the playoffs. Doesn't matter, how good you are. Like, if you get the win's the bailout, but the win is not guaranteed the way that good finishes guarantee moving up, unless it's a fluke year, like with was it Truex, I believe, in 22, right?
Yes.
Missed
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So it's really important to see just how much these guys are getting ahead, because there's guys talking about Buescher, he's on that line. Keselowski, he's below that.
Can we talk about
line.
Joey Logano?
I think we could talk a lot about Joey Logano. He still hasn't shown up on the ticker yet.
Yeah, Joey Logano
He's
currently
30th in points. If I was to score how many he is behind the playoffs, it looks like he's only 35. Which you can make that up in a race if you have a great race, but that's still a pretty big gap.
An even year. What's going on, Joey?
Now, here's the problem with that, though. Yeah, he's minus 35 right now, and currently ahead of him is Justin Haley in 29th, Todd Gilliland 28th, Harrison Burton 27th, Noah Gragson 26th, who had the penalty. So
and we're coming up on 1 year. No, it's been about 1 year roughly since his last NASCAR Cup Series win. It was Atlanta, back when Atlanta was like the 5th race of the year, something like that. So we're roughly 1 year into his winless streak. Joey Logano's he's a tough one to figure out, because he had tons of speed. I thought the Clash was top 5 all night, was really fast at the 2 super speedways, got caught up in wrecks at Atlanta, kind of caused the wreck. It was still pretty good at Las Vegas, like qualified on the pole, ran top 10, but then just crapped the bed at Phoenix, and then gets wrecked by John Hunter. But just a terrible weekend. Like, I just can't figure him out, because his teammate Ryan Blaney, I guess he's the defending champion, he's got all the good mojo on his side, but Blaney's riding a 3 straight top 5 streak. So why is Logano, a 2-time champion, seemingly lagging behind Ryan Blaney? That's no disrespect to Blaney. He's great, but they should be on the similar level.
Well, I'll pull this up really quick, because I was looking and seeing if there's maybe any statistical way of seeing maybe any kind of regression for Joey Logano. And in some ways, yes, some ways no. Again, 1 win last year, 1 win in 21, but other than that, he's 2 or more wins every year since 2017.
But he's had some weird years, like 17, where he had that encumbered win and missed the playoffs.
Well, he's had double-digit top 5s since he got to Penske. But then I looked at the top 10 numbers, and this is where it starts getting a little more telling. So he nearly peaked in his career in 2018 with 26. Next 2 years goes down to 21 apiece. 21, he goes to 19. Last 2 years, 17, so less than half the races in the top 10. Again, not huge decreases.
Some of that could be, the increased parity of the next gen, I think, has dragged the Penske guys back a little.
But does that really affect 2019, 20, and 21, though? Those are Gen 6 years.
Well, I thought you said 22 and 23 were lower than those years. So
but those years consistently went down.
I see. They were still going down even before that. Yeah,
and
fair
the
enough.
Average finish, 2018, 10.7, 2019, 10.8, 11.9 in 2020, 12.6, then 13.5, 14.9, and now a terrible 26.
Wow.
It's just... It's small decreases. I don't think Joey's washed. He's 34. He's got plenty of time, but... It is interesting to see at least slight regression, and I think part of it's the next gen, but this year does not help that in any way. I think he could win every race, and his average finish still would be around or maybe under a career high even after this point if he won every race this point out.
Oh my god,
that's insane. That just shows you where his peak was, I guess, a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this on this show, didn't we, a few episodes ago, about it's been a long time since Logano looked scary. I know he's won championships, but I feel like he hasn't looked scary since like 2015 when he was sweeping entire rounds of the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's great, but he's just hard to predict. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, you know what? I think, there's an old saying, work smarter, not harder. Like in this whole playoff era, if one race would, if it comes down to only one race, I mean, hey, why, just win one or two races a year, when they matter the most, I guess. So.
The trash man in the
I'm
chat.
laughing at the same thing.
What?
That's
The trash man said.
He says it's the hair plugs.
Yeah.
Logano's hair slowing him down. Mark says it's not aerodynamic. I don't know.
But seriously, I don't know what's keeping him from like dominating because Eric,
when did Todd? Someone in the chat mentions Todd Gordon. When did Todd Gordon step off the box? How many years ago was that?
2 years ago, I think.
Well, no. So I believe 2020 was the first year he was paired with Ryan Blaney. I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Todd Gordon went to somebody else first.
Went to
So
Blaney.
Paul Wolf since.
Yeah, Paul Wolf's pretty great. That's the thing. Is it's not like you're replacing.
Paul
Wolf's a
arguably,
champion himself.
Paul was arguably their best crew chief, in my opinion.
He's a veteran. He's won a championship. So I can't. Todd Gordon and Logano, maybe they had some magic, but I can't imagine he couldn't find the same formula with Paul Wolf.
But also too, I guess I'll kind of take this into account too. The first two races were super speedway. So we're still early.
And he was
in the
good. He was
well.
fast. He was fast.
He was fast there too. And also too, I felt like that there were going to be like a contender or two that was going to, struggle at both of those races too. So he just hasn't found his footing yet.
It's a big hole.
I think the problem is though, again, you put yourself in this hole early. Like Joey is not a guaranteed win anymore.
No, exactly.
What was his win last year?
Atlanta.
Okay. Had the good year before that. That is 2 years ago now. And trust me, as a Dale Jr. fan, I heard plenty of people say, you can't do that talk about 2 years ago. He hasn't won in that long, blah, 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 blah. Year before, what was his win? In 2021.
Bristol Dirt.
Bristol Dirt and Atlanta. I mean,
yeah.
You're basically like two crapshoot races away from being winless. And I know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but eventually that catches up.
It's catching up right now.
That's a good point. I want to bring Jet and Danny in here as we talk about Hendrick and a few other drivers I think that had standout days. Hendrick had a standout day in a negative way. Byron and Elliott ran top 5. They qualified well, held on to that track position for much of the race, but the moment they got shuffled back because of pit strategy, they couldn't go anywhere. So Larson, Elliott, Byron, and Bowman all finished outside the top 10. I think Larson was the lone guy in the top 15 with a 14th place finish. Jet, what did you make of Hendrick Motorsports, who finished, I don't remember if they finished 1-2 here last spring. I know Byron won, and it was him and Larson on that final restart, but they were so good here in the spring, close in the fall, but seemingly way off this time around. What'd you think of that?
It took me until after the race to realize, like, going through the results, I'm like, wait, what happened to Hendrick? Like, I completely forgot that Hendrick was in the race. Usually you expect someone like a Larson or a Byron, but I don't know. Like, I feel like with Hendrick, I feel like Hendrick, once in a while, they always have those off weeks where it's just, you don't hear about any of them. It's rare, but there's always that once a year thing where you just don't hear any of them. And I thought at the beginning, it looked like Chase Elliott may start to get back into rhythm. It was up in the top 10 for, I believe, the first half of the race. I'm thinking, okay, we started to see something out of the 9 car. No offense, Danny B. Of course, we don't hear anything about Bowman. He's just back there, just stinking up that 48 car.
Watching the show here lately, have you?
To be fair, I have been working every single Wednesday night, so I haven't been able to watch. But what I can say is that with Hendrick, they always have those once a year weirdo type of days where just none of them compete. But again, I think kind of like with RFK, I wouldn't worry about it. I think this is just, by the time we get to Bristol in the weeks following, I think they'll be fine. But it was weird to hear about not just Hendrick, but I think just Chevy as a whole, like you mentioned, just be off.
Hey, Chase Elliott fans, is it time to fire Gustafson again?
So I decided to go back to last year. So Hendrick didn't finish higher than 14th in this race. And I get it. Two of them ran the top 5 most of the day. Here's where they finished last year. Willie B 1, Larson 4th, though Larson had led 201 laps in that race. Alex Bowman 9th, Josh Berry 10th.
Josh Berry.
Yeah, that's right. Barry was in that race. Yeah, that's
All
right.
4 top 10 last year. And
Wow.
I get a lot of it as you're stuck in dirty air, lap traffic, stuff like that. But what's the other race, if you remember back to last year, where they kind of ran like this, where they didn't, most of them didn't get in the top 10 most of the day? What's going on? Why is the 9 car running 27th? Is Gateway.
Gateway.
A flat mile
yeah.
track. And so that, I kind of got flamed for that in 2022 for saying, hey, Hendrick might not be the best team at these flat tracks like Phoenix. You might want to watch out.
It's why going into Phoenix fall last year, everyone's eyes were on Blaney. Had he been the best all season? No, but he was hot at the time. And we knew that's a good pull about Gateway. We knew the Hendrick cars were iffy on the shorter, flatter ovals. I remember on TV, they were doing everything they could to hype Kyle Larson up. He is getting so much out of this car. That car is not good, but he is wheeling it to second or third place. They were really hyping up the driver because even TV knew that these Hendrick Chevys, they're scraping by here at these flat tracks. That's a good point as well. It's a reason to be concerned because Hendrick was not as competitive as Penske in the championship 4 last season, and to start off at Phoenix kind of way off is, I think, very concerning. Real quick, I want to mention Noah Gragson. We can give our quick take on him. He finished 12th, I believe, but he was this close to getting his 3rd top 10 of the season. We crap on Stuart Haas a lot on this show, or at least in recent months, because, it hasn't been good. But Noah Gragson was at -6 points, last in the standings 2 weeks ago. I think now, I just looked, he's like 25th. 26. He's 26, but he's ahead of Joey Logano, who we just talked about. He's ahead of Harrison Burke. He's ahead of Todd Gilliland, who, Todd Gilliland, but he's led a bunch of laps this year. Penske or front rows looked better. So Noah Gragson, 3 really good races to start this year because he was, I think, top 10 at Daytona as well.
What's shocking to me hearing you say that, Eric? Like we've been talking about how good he's been looking, but he is, like you said, he's 26 in the standings. We were just talking about how, it seems like Hendrick's not been doing good. Bowman, especially. Bowman's still 13th in the standings somehow. I just realized that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how. Are they doing more of the stages? I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about Gragson, I wanted to point out, if not for that penalty, he'd be 15th in points.
Yep. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Sorry.
And yeah, I was definitely the most positive, once the season started, before we ran the Daytona 500, talking about Stuart Haas Racing, like, yeah, give them a chance there, here and there. And then once that penalty came out, I, backtracked a little, but then Gragson showed up at Vegas and I'm right back on the bandwagon, now again, it's only, it's not like he's, competing for wins yet, but he's running way better than I thought originally. So, again, take away the penalty, he's in the playoffs right now.
He's been the best running Stuart Haas driver so far. And I think coming into this year, everyone on this panel would have picked Noah Gragson to be the 4th guy of that team, the 4th guy on a struggling team. Instead, he's not first in points, but he's, I think, first in speed on a pretty regular basis. So I think that's worthy at least of a shout out.
Yeah.
Were there any other drivers we wanted to mention? I know Chevy, we talked about a little bit, kind of lagged behind Ford and Toyota, but Ross Chastain still scored. Where did Chastain finish? 5th, 6th?
He was up there.
Was he the highest finishing Chevy?
He was up there.
He was 6th. Blaney beat him at the line by like a scotch.
That's right.
Oh yeah, they had that. That was a great battle for 5th. Yeah, it was a great battle. They had
pick points wise, I was very happy with that one.
Yeah, for sure. Also, hey, shout out to Eric Jones. I've been waiting for Legacy Motor Club to kind of show up, and then very early in the race, they were running top 5 for sure. And then as I'm looking at the points right now. He's only 2 outside of the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
so.
18th in points. That's respectable. We should hit on Austin Dillon and Austin Cindric getting caught up in that early crash. Austin Dillon had 10 DNFs last year. I think this was technically his first DNF of this year, but he's been caught up in 3 crashes in 4 races. It's been just an abysmal year plus for Austin Dillon. So I don't know. Pray for your 3 fans in your life. Pour one out for him. He's 32nd in points.
The 3 fans. McDowell, he got 8th.
Yeah, McDowell top 10. Yep, and that's his home track as well.
He's usually not very good there, so that's actually pretty big.
And Todd Gilliam led some laps. I know it was pitch strategy, but he I think finished around 16th, which is still pretty good for him and that team. So
That front row team has been looking mighty strong. They've been up front more consistently, but something I was not expecting. But I think I don't know if you said something, Eric, or I saw reports talking about on how front row they were kind of getting more support from Ford and kind of
Penske team basically
replacing SHR, but kind of just getting more support and more help from Ford. And it is, if that's the case, it is showing the way how they've been out front running strong, not only on the super speedways, but also for a technical track like Phoenix, for both of them to show speed. I think says a lot about how far they've come. And I think even though it's only 4 races in, I think could pave the way for a positive outlook for both of them this season.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I talked to Todd Gillen on my show earlier this week, and it was interesting. He made a comment about, we talked in the offseason, or there was an article I read, I think it was a racer.com article, where it went into detail about how Legacy Motor Club has grown and expanded to prepare for that, key Toyota partnership. Like they had grown from 70 employees to like 120 employees from last year to this year. Huge expansion, ready for all this new info, all these new resources. Compared to front row, Todd Gillen there was one little line he said to me where he said, "Hey, it's still just our 2 engineers trying to parse through all this data." And I was like, "Oh, so you guys haven't hired more people, haven't expanded?" So I think front row, it's great that they have this partnership with Ford now. They're getting more information, but it doesn't sound like they're quite as ready to actually expand as, say, Legacy Motor Club was. So it's great to see these flashes of brilliance. But I'm going to be patient with front row. They might sneak they might get one car in the playoffs this year. You never know. But I'm going to be patient with front row. I don't expect them to just, become a contender anytime too soon. I think it's going to take some time. Real quick, before we get into the Xfinity race and talk some numbers, let's talk about the short track package. All week long, I'm getting sick and tired of the horsepower talk. Everywhere you look, everyone and their mother's screaming, more horsepower, more horsepower, more horsepower. Yeah, who doesn't want to hear more horsepower? That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Will it actually fix the problem with Phoenix Raceway? However, we can talk bigger picture. Yeah, maybe more horsepower is a good, I can't say it's a bad direction. It's probably a good direction for a lot of other tracks, but for Phoenix in particular, my takeaway is Phoenix is just Phoenix. Jarrett, did you feel like the short track package made a significant difference this weekend?
No, but that's the thing for me is I wouldn't mind it as much if NASCAR and the networks didn't put this huge emphasis on the championship race and it's at this track. I'd said it in my video. This track irks me, and it's not just the racing itself.
Irks you.
It irks. Well, I mean, okay, let's just call it as it pisses me off because this track has everything going for it but the racing. It has a die-hard group of fans that will show up no matter what. Sells out every time. I know it's 42,000. It's at the lower end for tracks nowadays, but still, die-hard fans that will come every time. The city behind it for the most part, like pretty much the entire surrounding area, whether you go to the airport, it's on billboards, local news, everything. Support the track. Love racing. All for it. Great facility overall. You can't talk to anyone who's been there who has had a bad experience of being there unless they bought the nachos. So at this point...
Hey, real pause. The nachos were not on the menu. I checked this weekend. They were not there.
Good choice.
So the only thing, like everything for this track is going for it to be awesome, except the racing. And to me, Phoenix, I mean, I put it on a poll after the race on Sunday, and it was 50-50. I mean, we might be able to do it again if you want. I don't know if you do, Eric. 50-50 between Phoenix and Texas on which track was the least liked in NASCAR.
Wow. Okay, we'll see if there's recency bias here. I'm going to ask least popular track, Texas or Phoenix, and we'll see what our 600 live viewers have to say.
That'll be a close poll
in real time.
If this track wasn't the championship, I think people wouldn't mind it as much. I think it would just be one of those, I think people treat it like Richmond, where it'd be like, oh, it's Richmond, all right, we know what to expect. I do think Richmond is better. But then it's just, as this, okay, take out the fights, take out the crashes, take out all of that. What's a race at Phoenix in any layout because I love the old one, but I'll just say any layout that you remember for being just a barn burner, great racing throughout. Like you're just thinking, man, start to finish, I was thoroughly entertained. I wasn't even entertained. I was glad I watched that race.
Well, no, I'll even go deeper here too. Even for IndyCar, when they race there, yeah, I mean, hey, diehard IndyCar fans, and can you name me one IndyCar race there that was, spectacular? So no matter what it is, I feel like that's just what Phoenix Raceway is, unfortunately. But it happens to be the championship race, and the championship happens to come down to one race. So that's the major problem.
Not a good finish, a good race.
Yeah,
because 2017 had a great finish.
Yeah, finish for sure.
If I'm not mistaken, all 5 of us were at the last championship race held at Homestead Miami Speedway.
We were.
And I know, Eric, you have since been to Phoenix for a championship race weekend. And I don't think any of the other of us have. Honestly, I'll be truthful with you. I have zero desire to go see the championship at Phoenix at this point, unless there's talk that they could go back to Miami, but if it's like 10 years have gone by and I'm realizing, okay, this is the only place it's going to be at, then yeah, maybe at that point I'd just bite the bullet and go to one. But at this point, I have no desire to travel all the way to Phoenix for a championship race.
It's a beautiful venue. It is, I think, arguably the best fan experience of any track on the schedule. But I agree with all you guys. The racing has been lackluster. I agree with Tyler McGonigal's super chat. Just put dirt on Phoenix. Instantly better.
Right.
Put some desert sand on it. I'm being sarcastic, obviously.
Pass out goggles at the front gate.
Oh, yeah, you'd need it. Goodness gracious, would not be good for our skin. Well, we can talk more about horsepower a little bit later. We can also talk a little more about the championship date moving potentially to Homestead once more, according to some rumors and reports out there. But first off, let's talk about the TV ratings for Phoenix, because with all the doom and gloom this week, you may not realize the ratings were booming, as Bob would say. 4.028 million viewers tuned in to Sunday's Cup Series race. That's a 19% year-over-year increase from last season. I think I looked up, it's the most viewed Phoenix spring race since 2019, or maybe it was 2020. I think it was 2020. It was 17% of the audience was in the 18 to 49 age demographic. And a lot of stats here that Jarrett wrote that I'm losing. In comparable races? Okay, in comparable races, NASCAR is up nearly 10% in viewership from 2023. I don't know what comparable races are, because I know the Daytona 500 was rained out. And are we comparing Atlanta to Auto Club?
Basically, just the 2 through 4 races. It's up 10% year over year.
Okay. Thank you for that context. I'm sorry. My notes here are very scanty, unfortunately. Also wanted to note that the Xfinity Series race we're about to talk about had over 1 million viewers as well, 1.087, which was more than the IndyCar season opener, unfortunately, and also more than Formula One. Where's Formula One this weekend?
Saudi.
They're not racing this.
They were in Saudi last week. They're not racing this week.
They're off this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Formula One ratings. I saw. Not to like spark a war or anything in the chat or amongst our listeners. I did see F1's ratings were down 40%. Part of that was a different day of the week, but still 40% decrease year over year.
No, let's spark a war. Why not?
I'm just gonna
nobody's trying
to watch. If this was NASCAR, Nick Bromberg would have tweeted about it.
Where's Nick Bromberg? Has anyone seen him lately?
Nah, you don't need him. You got us. You got us, man. Like, because nobody wants to watch the Verstappen series anymore, man. That's what it is.
I heard. I didn't actually watch. I watched some of that first race. I didn't watch this one, but I heard that he won by less than 20 seconds this week. Is that true?
Yeah.
Hang the banner.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He beat his teammate. Yeah. Another dominant Red Bull.
A better question, though, is whose margin of victory was greater, Christopher Bell's or Max Verstappen's?
That's not Verstappen's.
Verstappen. I think it was probably still Verstappen.
Yeah, we're bitching about Bell's win. Track. How much was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, let's see what our viewers thought of this race.
Yes, sir. It's time for the poll, the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
I will read off the results of the famous iceberg poll. That's right. His child is in my hands. 4% of the 15,000 votes on the famous iceberg poll said that the Phoenix Cup race was great. 23% said it was good. So that comes out to 27% positivity. 55%, this might be the most mid score I've ever seen. 55% said it was average, 13% below average, and 5% said it was bad. So only 18% net negative, but 55% sitting on the fence saying, it was a race. It was something.
I just did the math. 4% of 15,000 votes means that 600 people thought this was the greatest race I've ever seen to vote great.
They must all be Oklahomans or something.
Mel, how many accounts do you have, sir?
And now we know how many Christopher Bell fans watch me.
But that's the numbers result. Jarrett, were there any comments that you got that stood out to us? Any good song lyrics or recipes or just troll jobs?
Well, no surprise here. Isaac got the first comment.
Isaac.
Positive, negative, or meme, what you guys got? Or any of the mix of the...
No, negative meme, not positive meme. Negative.
I feel like usually he'd be positive, so I think this week he's not going to go negative. He'll just meme. He'll just make a joke.
Yeah, just a joke.
What do you think, Jet?
Oh, you're muted.
It's gone now.
Oh,
We went from absolute peaks to absolute valleys.
Okay, meme.
We got him.
There we go. There we go.
He says, did they make improvements to the short track package, or did they just bring back the 2022 and 2023 package? I'm confused. Hey, NASCAR, take this fan base's advice and put horsepower back in the short track package, and we might get some decent racing again. Then again, this is Phoenix we're talking about. Maybe the track just sucks. Either way, can we stop having this race host the championship? Please.
I guess that was kind
agree.
of negative, actually, if anything. It was
Yeah.
constructive criticism, perhaps.
Yeah, I will just say constructive meme.
I think
There
it was
you go.
negative, honestly.
Okay.
I don't think there was much memeing. Top comment
He
comes
was just
from
venting.
Yeah. Top comment comes from TJ. Says, I like that Fox interviewed Christopher Bell's tire changer halfway through. I'd like to see that more in the future.
Especially because
Yeah.
he just made a mistake or perceived mistake. They'd had an issue on the pit stop and it was like, well, hey, what went wrong? I actually like that. That was cool. Like, they don't just talk to them when it's, oh, how fun is your job? Like, no, they went to him when something went wrong, and it was cool that he did the interview.
So it'd be like, sir, why did you F up?
Basically.
Boyer, what's it like being around this hot rod?
Yeah. My new thing with Clint Boyer that now that I say it, you'll notice it every week. Hey, Kevin Harvick, this is Clint Boyer in the Fox booth. You got me? And it's, oh, hey, how's it going, y'all? Or, it's doing good. Or what's up? And he always goes, you are. And then he goes into his question. But every single week, he's always, you're up or you're on or you're hot, whatever it is. And it's like a pet peeve of mine. Anyway, continue.
I was just trying to remind them they're on a live mic right now.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a common courtesy.
Yeah.
Oh, and let's spam lit in the chat in honor of Kevin Harvick.
Oh, man.
yeah,
Do we have
lit.
to?
Well, if they're
love
going to
it.
force it, I'm going to force it.
But
I
also,
like Colorado,
make
too.
sure to lick the like button. 500
Yeah.
likes. There you go. Lick the like button.
And make the like button lit. Come on, guys.
Yes. There you go.
Casey here says this track does not need 2 races. It's the top voted comment with almost 500 likes.
See, the problem with that is they sell out, so it's going to be hard to justify.
sell
And they
out.
did all those renovations, so they kind of
Yeah.
brand.
I mean,
Exactly.
to be fair, I could be wrong with this. Someone can fact check on me, but I think also Homestead was selling out when they had the champion.
Yeah, true that. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like honestly, I think
Well,
that NASCAR could host a championship at Texas Motor Speedway. People are still going to go to it because it is a championship.
yeah.
I was
that's
about to
true.
say, I got nightmares and all of a sudden, like the 1,000-yard stare hearing Texas championship.
Yeah. Well, I guess because did they sell out this last weekend or no? They didn't sell. out last
Phoenix sold out this last
Yeah.
weekend.
Okay, they
I
did,
do
okay.
know
Alright.
Miami. I think when we were there in 2019, it was not a sellout. I don't think.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
It was close. It might. Well, no, 2019. I think they'd started like tearing down that one sort
They
of
were.
partial turn one.
Yeah.
So I think it was
Mhm.
sold out except for that one section that they had started to
Yeah.
tarp over. So.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah.
capacity wise, it probably still was more people than Phoenix because Phoenix at a sellout is like 40K, and that's not including some of the infield stuff, but like it's about 40K.
Mhm.
I think Homestead even now capacity is like 50 something. So,
Yeah, but again, whether it's a championship race or not, I always feel like Phoenix
Oh.
is always going to have 2 races.
Mhm.
Homestead's 46 now, so it's
No,
around the
it's gone
same.
down.
Okay. Oh,
They're-
okay.
they're planning.
Yeah.
The topical here. Blaney Best says, and we left Homestead for this?
Nice, fair.
Yeah.
Better racing. Usually.
Mr. Bacon with an Eric Almirola profile pic says, bring the Rock back.
It was at Daytona. What more do you want, people?
Yeah, you want him to come to every. He's too busy with his football league now.
Screaming at the clouds. Maybe they'll listen.
Jacob says, horrible track, horrible package, more horsepower now. I feel like that's his 2024 campaign slogan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of people who left multiple comments, and a lot of them I cannot read. Let's see. This one here says, my boy Bell wins. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
I love this username. That one fat guy says, being a Chase Elliott fan is becoming painful.
Hey, yeah, when you're barely finishing inside the top 20. Yeah.
Bob says, the random cutting to commercial was bad. No, that's a Fox thing. Let's see. I'm trying to find something that's just not the same comment packaged up in a different way. And it's really hard. Oh my, this is a good one. Hendrick Nation 9 says, how the F is this race getting average? This is probably one of the worst races with a next gen car.
I think the only reason I would have given this race like a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 7, if not for, the last 50 laps having absolutely no tension to them whatsoever. But before then, there was definitely more passing than there were the last couple Phoenix races, without a doubt. Even the stat, that one probably skewed stat, also backs that up.
We're gonna ignore the green flag pit stops on that stat. Let's see. Just wow. The word of the day is boring. By the way, Jesus Christ, 500 something comments.
I think I voted it was average because I don't expect much from this track at this point. So to me, that is average.
All right, let's
Good
see.
point.
We've gotten down to the gutter. We've been in the gutter the whole time, but we got down to the very bottom of the
The whole
gutter.
thing has been the gutter. What are you talking
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I don't have enough effort with the gutter to read something that's 7 lines long, so I'm just gonna go one higher. It's the one that's 1 line. So Midwest Train Chaser says, horrible race. Next gen is awful on anything less than 1.5 miles. Dislike says HMS sucks. And KFB sucks. 8042 says, oh, wow. A non-American manufacturer winning. We should all be so excited about that. Not. Give me a break. Toyota can shove it. And I'm just all I can think of is the meme that Danny sent me of the dude driving the Silverado that runs over a Ford Focus going, you got soft hands.
Oh my god.
And that's the poll.
Yes, and that'll conclude this edition of the famous Iceberg Poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
I think there's 2 or 3 things we can talk about regarding the Xfinity Series race on Saturday. First off, Justin Allgaier, man, that hurts.
That's crazy.
He had, like, I don't know what it was, a 3-second lead, something like that. Cuts a tire, crashes out hard. That was a nasty crash for Phoenix Raceway standards.
Chat was on track to get the win, get them bonus pit points.
Yeah, chat. Y'all were close, man.
Is it bad that when the wreck happened, my first thought was, oh my God. Second was, I hope he's okay. But then third thought, close behind, was chat.
And unfortunately, I feel like that kind of sums up his career to an extent. Not fully, though. I mean, yeah, sure, he's won a lot of races, but he's also been known as that hard luck guy in the Xfinity series, where it's like, yeah, he wins, some races every now and then, but he'll never win a championship because he'll have some bad luck stuff happening like that to him,
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. I do remember Martinsville last fall. He was the beneficiary of the RCR guys,
it's true,
running into each other. So it comes and goes, but that was about as heartbreaking as it possibly gets, and as sudden.
That was the worst.
But Chandler Smith gets the win instead, his first win of the year, second win for Joe Gibbs Racing. Another race where I felt like the 20, which I guess again was John Hunter this weekend, as well as the 81 of Chandler Smith were among the class of the field. What's up, Darian?
Oh, I just I just saw this in chat. Someone reminded me of Jamie Little. We got to talk about Fox's
caution. Nope. We're doing a caution for no reason.
Yeah, we got shoot, yeah. There's so many problems, but I guess the Phantom Caution too. That was one that was one for sure.
Yeah,
And then
it
the
completely
broadcast
changed
as well. Ugh.
It changed the race because ultimately it led to then a restart that created that huge crash on the back straightaway. But I'll bring you in here on this jet. What did you make of Chandler Smith's season so far? Let me look up his numbers. But Chandler Smith gets his first win of the year. But if I recall, he's been top 5 every week. Yeah, he has
Yeah.
4 top 5s in 4 races.
Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta look him up too because I just was not expecting Chandler to pull off a win, even though I don't want to say it was handed to him because he did. I mean, he had to put himself in position. I feel like when it comes to races like this, yes, even though something may happen to the leader, you still have to put yourself in position to be able to capitalize on mistakes. That happens plenty of times in racing. But yeah, I'm actually surprised how he started at 5th, 2nd, 3rd, and of course that win. Where's he sitting now? Where is he at in points?
He's leading the points by
Leading
1
points.
point.
Yeah, he's high up there.
I mean, when you consider his results last year with Colleague, even in Colleague, I don't know if you would call that the team to beat, but it's still a top team. Only got 1 win at Richmond, finished 9th in points. I mean, it was not bad, but to start off the season at 4 completely different racetracks to finish in the top 5, that is an incredible start for him. So blew my mind because I was not expecting Chandler to have this type of consistency.
Yeah,
also,
he was impressive. What's up, Darren? Sorry.
And also shout out to Jesse Love too. He's top 5 in the standings. It's still early in the season, but I mean he's ahead of Sheldon Creed, AJ Allmendinger. Obviously all Geier now. So
he's led the most laps in the series as well so far.
Yeah.
I feel dumb. I had to look this up. I thought this was like his first win ever in the Xfinity Series, but I forgot him winning Richmond last year.
Yeah, he had, I think you said it, Darian, right? Jed, he had just the 1 win last year, I think.
At Richmond, yeah.
Yes. So this is why he won.
For some reason, I couldn't remember him winning in college equipment for some reason.
Yeah.
I feel like with Chandler, he's just there. It's kind of like you see him on your TV screen, you're like, oh, he's racing. Oh, he's doing well. But then if he's not there, you just don't even think about him.
Yeah, and I feel like colleague racing last year in particular, you kind of noticed a drop off in performance. Even now, the only guy they have top 10 in points is AJ Allmendinger. I don't see. I mean, who else do they have? I don't even see. I'm scrolling down the list. Where are the rest of their drivers? Who do they have this year?
Oh, they are.
Josh Williams. That's right. He's off to an absolutely abysmal start. Where the hell is he? 30th. Jeez.
Yeah, it's bad. But shout out to SVG 2 and 14.
Yeah, shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen and getting he finished 6th, right? So you look at his oval results this year, take out Vegas where he blew a motor, whatever the case was. He's 12th, 6th, and 3rd. His three of his first 4 oval starts. Like, I know he dodged the big crash, probably would have finished 15th if not for the big crash this weekend, but still. Like that, I think SVG is right where he should be, if not slightly ahead of schedule when it comes to adjusting to ovals.
I'm really honestly sad the Xfinity Series is not going to Bristol this weekend because I would love to get an early look at SVG at Bristol. I would love to see how he could do there.
Yeah, Danny. Now, by the way, Danny, that let's get you uploaded was pretty funny because like Xfinity was like, "What? I get the weekend off? That's crazy! It's so early. I get it off first." Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Phantom caution. I don't know if there's much more to say about that. NASCAR, of course, throwing the yellow for Deegan, just kind of just getting up into the wall. It'd been a long run.
Haley Deegan, what more can you? I mean, look, 4 races in, but I didn't have like too much expectations for Deegan, but. Dag, like I gotta see a little something, man. We saw a little something at Vegas, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it's not a great start.
2 DNFs in the first 4 races officially for Haley Deegan on the stat sheet. At least she's running around the top 20, but needs to get more of those finishes for sure. I think we can move on. We are nearly to the top of the hour. I know we've got a pretty stacked lightning round and second half of the show before we get to Bristol. And I'll remind everyone, we are only about 100 likes away from reaching the 500 like goal, which unlocks Jarrett's mystery driver of the week. We should probably come up with an official name for that segment that rolls off the tongue. Random driver of the week. I mean, it's basically the same as mystery driver of the week, but it works. I mean,
less syllables.
That's true. One less syllable, saving important time. And as we all know, time is money, and you all have donated some very generous super chats here to start this stream. Let's get to our first super chat stage break. Nas Carson, before the show started, said Phoenix. Basically summarized Phoenix. Xfinity had the dumb Deegan caution, unlucky Allgaier, not afraid Chandler Smith to race and speak out. Cup, race had too many laps under green. Any regrets, Eric, for not picking Bell? I did in my fantasy group. I did have Bell in my fantasy lineup. I didn't pick him to win the race, so cost me some potential NWP pick points. But a good synopsis there, Nas Carson. Appreciate the super chat from Isaac, the Last Jedi. Good thing Jarrett took his headphones off before I said that. Hey guys, you know what tomorrow is? It's March 14th, also known as Pie Day. Wait, that's not right. It should say the day that crabs fries.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I appreciate any SpongeBob movie references on the timeline.
Ocean Man.
Napa Racing fan.
It says on a pie. It's a bomb from the bomb factory for bombs.
Napa Racing fan, I read this one earlier. Bell has got his earliest win of the season if you don't count the Rainbow Caution win at Daytona in 2021. Blake, thank you for the super chat. Off on Sunday, Mother Nature behaves so I can watch. Yeah, we'll check on the weather later. It's iffy at Bristol, typical spring Bristol.
All I'm saying is my Mother Nature character may have a bag packed ready for Bristol this weekend.
Hopefully that luggage gets lost. A Prada, thank you for the extremely generous 50 super chat. Chris Rice's comments are wrong. The 2014 package proved you could still run 900 horsepower and have amazing racing. 2014 was not perfect, but was solid. It was because of NASCAR's decision to cut power in 15 that this is an issue now. Yes, Chris Rice earlier said that if you increase the horsepower, the field will likely get more spread out. And I think he's probably right because there's more handling will come into play. The better drivers and teams will likely stand out, compared to the maybe worse drivers and teams. It then just becomes a debate. Is that a bad thing? The closer next gen, more equal racing looks good on TV, has led to some exciting 3-wide photo finishes and some great parity. But my argument would be that it's also hindered superstars from emerging. Like we may never get another 10-win championship season like Kyle Larson did again. Like that might be the last of its kind. And it all comes down to personal preference. We can debate that a little bit later on. Hollow, thank you for the 2. Ticketmaster showing a packed house for Bristol. That's encouraging. I hope that's the case because the spring date struggled in the past.
Yeah.
Alexander,
the turns, by the way.
Oh, that's
the corners are open and a lot of the sections have good amounts of them sold.
Love to see that demand. Hopefully the rain.
They want it back. So if you want it back, go prove it.
Yeah, I hope the rain stays away and everyone still shows up. Alexander, thank you for the 20. Awesome to see Jet on here. No offense to the other creators, but I really enjoy MBK's content. How about that?
We all do.
Offense taken. We'll just make it all about him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He also asks, is there a chance that he or that you could make video graphic design tutorials on Patreon? I want to make videos at that quality.
It wouldn't be for Patreon. It'll be for free. I mean, I'm not. If enough people want it, then they'll get it.
Just monetize it, make you some ad revenue, and call it a day.
Share your brilliance with the world, no matter the platform. Isaac, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna do just a few more here real quick. Isaac, thank you for the 5. Bowman P20 because of the slowness of Hendrick. Good news is Friday's my birthday, and I'll be at Bristol this weekend, so hopefully Alex will run good. Happy early birthday, Isaac. Always good to see you in the chat. Pit Stop Perspective said, do you think that the Victory Lane interview will ever come back instead of the front stretch interview? I know it's all about the TV window.
Gosh, I hope so, but
I hope.
I don't know. I still like the front stretch interview. That's a hot take, but I've actually mostly preferred that to the Victory Lane interview.
I don't care anymore. I really don't. I would have. I cared before, but
Victory Lane's interviews are just so corporate to the point where you had guys knocking over sponsor logos because they conflicted with their own sponsors. Like it's just so
That's
corporate.
What makes it fun. I think.
Outside,
I feel like I'm waiting just for one of the drivers. Just as soon as they come up, they just get in their car and just drive away and just leave it
that would
out
be
there.
so funny.
It's like outside of Denny's quote. What's different? Like what? Oh, I just won a race. I'm pissed. Damn it! I just won. I don't. I'm so upset. Like. What are they gonna say?
Yeah,
I guess that's true. 2 more super chats, and then we will get back to the rest of the show. These are some funny ones, or at least this one is. Tyler McGonigal sent a 5 and said, "Unfortunately, had to file for divorce today. Wife had a dream she kissed Joey Logano and liked it."
Oh wow,
that is
kneel to the hair plugs.
That sounds reasonable to me.
This man paid money.
I mean, them hair plugs do things, man.
No. Just sing the Joey Joey song to her.
There you
God,
go.
kill me.
Where you leave.
Sharkzilla, I believe, sent 5 and said, as much as I hate to say it, I think Mike Joy retires after this year. And if he does, Adam Alexander probably replaces him. Or maybe Rick, since he did trucks on Fox before. We'll talk about those broadcaster changes. I do think Adam Alexander is sort of being groomed to eventually succeed Mike Joy potentially. And I think he'd be decent in that role. But Rick Allen now could be looking for a new job after this year, it sounds like, but we'll get to that here in just a short bit. That will do it for the first Super Chat stage break. Really appreciate everyone's support. If you've sent a Super Chat in already, or will send another one, or are going to send one, we will get to it at the very end of the show here before long. But gentlemen, it's time for the second half. We've got a packed second half for you guys, getting close to that 500 like goal. And oh my gosh, I should have worn a jacket. It's like cold front just moved through here. Are you feeling that, Darian?
I am feeling it. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for this evening?
We got a little bit here. First off, shout out to the Spotify side of things for
Hi, Spotify.
Hello.
Hi to all of you. So when it comes to their poll, I asked, just quite frankly, who wins more races this year, Kyle Larson or William Byron? And 64% to 36% said Kyle Larson. We'll find out.
Well, he's up. Well, I guess they're tied 1-1. So
NASCAR's John Probst said that a new engine electrification update should be made by 26 or 27 now, which lines up with any new OEMs possibly entering, according to Matt Weaver. So the goalpost keeps shifting.
Yeah.
The Nashville truck race this year has been booted to Fox Sports 2. So, I mean, I have it, but I don't know how many others do. Connor Zilic will make his first Xfinity Series start in the JRM number 88 car at the Glen, Kansas, Homestead, and the Phoenix finale this year. And Kamui Kobayashi?
Kobayashi,
yeah, sound pretty good to me.
Will drive the number 50 for 2311 at COTA.
So that means RIP the money team.
The money team.
The money team. RIP the money team.
Maybe this is the money team in disguise.
Did you predict the money team to go full time?
Yes.
We won't. We'll give it the 2-year window unless they announce closing.
Yeah, we'll give
but
it
at the moment, it's still on the table, but it's at the edge, teetering off.
Yeah, but when I saw you had wrote 50, I was like, oh, is this a typo? Did he mean 67?
No, so they're sponsored by Mobile One, who's having their 50-year anniversary. So they're doing number 50 since.
Well, maybe it might just be a one-off deal, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with the other one. They're done.
They're done.
Dollar Tree and Family Dollar will be closing 1,000 stores after reporting net losses of $1.71 billion in their last quarter. Now, some of this is moving to different locations, like strip malls and other small areas that are just not their own building.
Downsizing.
But most booming companies are not necessarily downsizing all the time.
Yeah, y'all just got here.
Yeah. Hopefully it was perfect.
Hopefully that doesn't spell doom. My only hope is that, they've probably known the money was rough for a few months now. They only signed the deal with Legacy a couple months ago. So hopefully they already knew about this and factored that into their budget and they stick around. I don't know. We'll see.
Now the real question is, how did NWP do during Q4? Were we up? I'm assuming we went
to check. Oh yeah?
Yeah, we're
booming.
And then I want to remind y'all, next week we'll be on Darian's channel. Maybe I should move that like goal out of Darian's hair. How about we do that? But we'll be on Darian's channel next week, March 20th on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time with special guest. Nope, that's not the guest. We don't have the guest graphic this week. We have the pick points, so you got that one. Ellie Productions will be on, and I promise I will be better I must have put it in the wrong one. Good for me on that one. Yeah, Ellie will be on, not the pick points. Well, pick points will be on, but yeah, there you go.
Good stuff.
So,
awesome.
There you are. There's the lightning round. I was the one that screwed up this week, not Darian.
What's going on, man? And that'll conclude this edition of the famous lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now, back to the show.
Headlines, headlines, headlines. A lot of big stories this week that we've touched on maybe here and there throughout the show, but now it's time to dive in deep. Let's actually start with a story that broke about a week ago or like 4 or 5 days ago. NASCAR reportedly held discussions with Dodger Stadium around potentially running a NASCAR Cup Series race there, like in conjunction with Formula E. Now, the way I've read some of the more recent reports, Dustin Long for NBC I think he talked to Steve Phelps directly about it at Phoenix. And the clarification was, yes, these were conversations they'd had, likely didn't lead anywhere. So this might be off the completely out, off the board, so to speak. But say it's not. Say NASCAR could seriously bring the Clash or some other race to Dodger Stadium. Jet, I'll push this on you first. What would be your reaction to a NASCAR Cup Series race at Dodger Stadium?
Why? That's all I gotta say is why.
Yeah, I agree.
My first thought was there's no way in hell you can fit a racetrack in a baseball stadium. This ain't 1949 or something like that. Like the cars are just way too. That's a nice Stanley Cup, by the way. The cars are just way too big to be able to fit into a baseball stadium. Then I heard about maybe a road course around it, which okay, but I don't know. I feel like I understand you have to be in LA. NASCAR's got to be in LA or in Southern California in some capacity, but I just feel like that they're trying too hard at this point. Like with the Coliseum, okay, it's big enough. It's a quarter-mile track. NASCAR's done that before, but I don't know. To me, it's just like it feels like that NASCAR is just begging just to try and have something in LA instead of just taking a step back and say, okay, what can we do something that is going to have long-term success? You got Fontana, whatever's happened with that, but with here, it just seems that you're just trying to promote something that sounds, incredible, but in reality, it's just stupid because we know that more than likely, hypothetically, if they go to Dodger Stadium, it's going to be there for a couple of years or whatever, then they're going to leave. It's just, I'd much rather NASCAR take their time. Hell, if that means taking a year away from Southern California, then fine. Yeah, but I'd much rather, I know it sounds crazy, but I'd much rather them come up with a long-term plan that would make sense than, spending money just for the sake of, we're racing around a baseball stadium. Oh, we're racing a football stadium. Oh, we're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing that. It's just...
Especially if they were to race in the stadium. I just don't know how you sell that to the public. It's like, oh, we're going to run a race inside of a historic LA stadium. You just did that 3 years in a row, like the switching it from the Coliseum to Dodger Stadium to me is not a big enough draw. It's not like, oh, Dodger Stadium, now you have my attention. It's like, no, it's the same thing. So I just wish they'd get something figured out with Auto Club. I understand business, the nature of business right now, the economy, the this, that. I'm not very smart. I understand that the conditions may not be best to go and develop and construct an all new racetrack in Southern California, but I wish they'd make up their mind sooner rather than later, because it would be nice to have a permanent short track in the Southern California area, and Auto Club's your best shot. I hope they make that happen in the near future, because all these temporary tracks, like you're saying, you can't really build up, established history if you're only going to be there for a couple of years max.
Right. And I think I saw someone say that instead of trying to, like what they did with the Coliseum or potentially or somewhat with Dodger Stadium, invest money into the current short tracks. I think Irwindale I don't know my California, so I don't know if Irwindale is in Southern California.
I believe it is. I don't know. It's not huge, so it's
it's not a huge track though.
I feel that like it would be better to spend money that could be sustainable for the long run rather than just, I don't want to say you're kind of throwing money down the drain, but it's like
really quick.
What do you get from that?
Really quick, DC says in chat, NASCAR is all over the place, and you are absolutely right. And like I totally understand why. I mean, they desperately want to race in this market. It's the number one market in the country. Totally understandable, but I do agree that they do need something that is more long standing. At least until if the short track is happening, at least until that's built. And my thing is, hey, why not try, a street race out there if you can? You already did Chicago, and, it sounds like maybe that's about to run out. That's about to run out pretty soon as well. So, hey, just go for it. I mean, it's the biggest market in the country. You want to race there so badly, just run that. And hey, you know what? Maybe if that happens to be a hit, then hey, maybe the short track doesn't happen anymore. But we'll have a race in the market.
Yeah, I think maybe not next year, but I'm pretty sure this is happening. I don't think that they would put it out there saying all this stuff, do this or that, without having a plan to do it. I think that I won't say unfortunately just yet, just because the Clash turned out better at least the first 2 years than a lot of us thought it would. But this one, it feels like a reach. It really does. It feels like they don't know where necessarily to draw the line. They can't take that extra year or so off, which is crazy to me, because if you look at the Chicago side of things, how many years they not have a race in the Chicago area before the street race last year? Was it 4, I believe? 20, 21, 22?
At least a few.
So, yeah, it was 4 years when you look in total between that 2019 Chicagoland race and the Chicago street race. So I think they just need to bite it in the short term, as much as it sucks. Get that auto club track built, whether it's a short track or an intermediate, whatever the hell you're going to make it, and build for the long term. Because these smaller changes, changing Atlanta to the second race, or having the Chicago street race, the Clash in the Coliseum, that stuff is good for the short term, but eventually there needs to be structure in the schedule so that people in those areas can actually know what to look out for. Because when you're basically year in and year out trying to figure out where the hell you're looking to watch NASCAR whenever it comes to town, you're inevitably going to lose people in the cracks because of that, both on the TV side if they're casuals and want to check it out, as well as in attendance especially.
Yeah, you're probably right about that point. I know a lot of fans like to renew their tickets well in advance, like to block out, set weekends consistently. Oh, I've been going to this track every March for 20 years. That's very common. So that's a good point. I think the Dodger Stadium thing is dead. I don't think it'll happen. I kind of agree with Jarrett. I would like to just see them take a gap year and then come back to LA in full force with a new Auto Club Speedway renovation. I think that'd be the best way to do it. Leave them wanting more. Quit teasing us with these random tracks. If they could have made a street course, like if they managed to do something at Long Beach, for example, that might have been cool. But another stadium race, no, we've done that before. If you're going to do a stadium race, do it in a completely different market. I think that's the point of proving that you can do a stadium race, is take it somewhere else. Anyway, I want to talk about something we touched on earlier. Phoenix Raceway will host the championship weekend this year for the fifth year in a row, right? Fifth year in a row. But this could be it, at least for the time being. Jordan Bianchi on The Athletic, very reputable reporter, not reporting this, just making an educated guess based on conversations he's had. He believes Phoenix won't be the championship race next year. He thinks Homestead Miami will host the championship once more in 2025. So this is just a rumor. This is just an educated guess. But if this was true, first off, Danny, do you think this is true? And second, would you welcome a return to Homestead?
I'll start with that last one. Would I welcome it? Heck yes, I would. Inject it into my veins. I would for sure welcome this back.
With arms wide open.
But do I think it's going to happen? I'll believe it when I see it. Because right now there has been too much money invested into Phoenix. They just seem dead set on making Phoenix work. And do I see it being there forever? No, absolutely not. But do I see them giving up after only 5 years with it? I don't. Knowing NASCAR, they will give it longer.
Yeah, like if you're gonna invest all that time and money into one track, then yeah, like and to only have it be the championship race for only half a decade, I don't know. I think it'll be the championship race for a little while longer, and then Homestead can potentially come back. But they've invested too much time and money into this place. I feel like, yeah, you do have certain people that are for it, but I feel like the decision makers at the end of the day are gonna look at they're gonna crunch the numbers and just go, yeah, look, we've invested too much into this. We can't back out now.
Well,
I'm surprised y'all so pessimistic.
I think they will in the
NASCAR,
short.
come on, man.
I think they
Yeah.
will in the short term. All right, and I'll kind of give more elaboration to this. It may not be next year, but I think they will go back to Homestead for a brief time. I think NASCAR is not, it's not Phoenix they're bought into, I think, as much. I think the investment, yes, that they are technically, yes, bought in a lot of ways there, but I think they're going after is that West Coast audience. That's what they're really wanting. They have been chasing after that since before the boom, and they're going to chase after it as much as they can. They want that West Coast audience the same way they have that Southeastern and in some ways East Coast and Midwest audience. Desperately they want that. So I think they're going to do is maybe next year, definitely the year after for sure on. I think they will move it for a year or two to Homestead, bite into F1's market share while they are sort of in that downslide in performance in America. Kind of two birds, one stone. You make fans happy for a little bit. You kind of make people in the Miami area choose a bit more. But I think the end goal is putting it at Auto Club. And the renovated Auto Club they're spending all this money on, all this grief on. Anyone I've talked to that's around there, whether media or just people that live around there, say there is constantly construction. They are going to build it. It's going to happen. It's just taking for frickin' ever. But I think that's the end goal. You're going to have a modernized Auto Club Speedway that's a shorter track. So you give NASCAR the short track they want. That's your finale. Relatively good weather, West Coast audience, all the shebang, all that good stuff. That's the end goal on this. So, yeah, I think Homestead a year or two, maybe 3 if we're lucky. But I don't see Homestead Miami Speedway personally going much farther than that. I personally think that after the finale, they're going to axe it for a while for a Miami street race. Again, to keep fighting against F1 as they're in a backslide.
A lot of bold predictions mixed in there.
It makes
I like
sense. It makes sense.
I don't know about the street race lot. You lost me on the street race.
Well,
bit.
they got to Chicago forever. They can't. Look at where they would do the street races. It would take races, the ISC races.
That part makes sense. But I would, yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from. What were you going to say, Jet?
I first want to touch upon the Miami street race. No, someone that is from that area, I could tell you that if anything, it will be Miami Gardens. No way in hell they're going to allow that in the city of Miami. Trust me, I've tried to advocate for the street race in Miami, at least for F1, and my God, they would not allow that. As for would Phoenix continue after this year, I think I agree with the stance that I think it will continue. I think they're in this for the long run, but I do agree with the point that I think it will eventually lead to Fontana maybe being the championship race, which I've always felt that like before it was demolished, that Fontana would have been a perfect place for the championship race. I mean, it's in the South, it's in the LA, Southern California market, so you could do a lot of promotion for there. And also Fontana, it's a really good racetrack. Half mile, I think, are they planning to be a half mile for Fontana?
Yeah. Theoretically, yes.
Okay. Okay, that could work. I don't know. Has NASCAR ever done that for the final race? Be
half
short
mile.
Track? I know it's been Atlanta for the longest time, and then
that's a great question. Maybe in like the 50s or 60s they did. I don't know, but not in a long, long time.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Well, I think that for Homestead, it's not happening unless Homestead actually does some renovations, because I think when you look at Homestead and you look at the layout, you look at how it is, it's just not championship ready, if I could say that. I think from people that have attended it, they always say like it's outdated. It just looks like it's still stuck in the 2000s. Like you said, Phoenix invested so much money, and on top of that, the country as a whole, or not the country, the city as a whole has backed this race. You see, like when you go through the airports, you see billboards, you see all this stuff promoting the race. So I think because of that, NASCAR is full set on trying to get that West Coast audience and staying Phoenix for the long haul. I think unless Homestead does some renovations, it ain't getting the championship race.
Sorry, not trying to interrupt you here, Jet, but
I know Mike Bus. Yeah, I see it.
Our chat is agreeing with a lot of what you said. Worldwide Well said, such great points made through such a haunted microphone.
He's on the road, y'all. By the way,
I'm struggling out here.
500 likes.
Yeah, 500 likes, y'all, Appreciate it.
5 and likes. Give me a better mic.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it good now? I just want to ask the chat. Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think when you hold it
It's-
close, it's pretty good.
Keep it
Just-
close.
Yeah.
My wrist is like go back and forth.
Right.
I agree with the kind of a mix of everyone's take. So I think they'll absolutely be at Homestead next year. I think this week has provided enough momentum. Think about, how all the belly aching you've heard this week about package and horsepower and track, it's going to be even worse in November after the championship race. So I fully expect at that point the schedule will be out, but I fully expect Homestead to be the finale next year. I would not be shocked if it's a 3-race rotation in the short term, like it goes to Homestead for a year, Phoenix for a year. Oh, now Auto Club is ready. But I think those are the 3 tracks that it will cycle between because they're all NASCAR owned. They're all south or west, fair weather city. Fair weather, that's not the right phrase to use, but like warm weather cities, I guess. Very strong markets, Miami, LA, very flashy. Phoenix is a big city. So I think those 3 tracks, they will host the champ. Some combination of those 3 will host championship races in the next few years. What exactly it looks like, it's anyone's guess.
If it wasn't for politics, you could throw in Vegas. I mean, Vegas is another great spot for the team.
Vegas would be great if it was a NASCAR owned track.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I mean,
that's the only issue.
You know what I would think would be really cool for them to do one day, and I know it's probably impossible, but if SMI and ISC could almost do a trade, like, of tracks or something, or one leases out to the other or something.
I wish it could be like every other year. ISC gets one, and then the next year SMI gets one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
They're
NASCAR,
never-
they're like, they're never gonna release it. No
It would
way.
be like SMI. You got the Bristol night race. You got the All-Star race. You got the Coke 600. You
Yeah.
have our hometown
Yeah.
race. You've done your part. We'll take it from here. It's probably an insurance policy to make sure that if they're changing stuff up or tracks drop off, if there's ever a problem with SMI, that they
Mhm.
still have the consistent Daytona, Talladega finale kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's probably a good point, actually. A couple more topics I want to hit on just real quick before we get into some of our final segments. I'll keep this simple. Everyone's talking about upping the horsepower. Kyle Larson said today that he's talked to folks at Hendrick who says they could make 1,000 horsepower tomorrow if they needed to, no extra cost. Darian, I'll let you speak, but I also want to start off with you. Do you think between now and next year, do you think NASCAR will increase the horsepower at any style of track?
Well, if the fans and drivers keep up, if they keep, ranting and raving about it, yeah, definitely for sure. It's been proven if you bully NASCAR enough, they will do it. It has to be a lot, but they will do it. But also, that's not even the craziest thing he said in the interview. He said later on in the interview that one of the engines that he won in, I don't know if it was
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah. Right now for Rick Hendrick's personal car, they're building that. Well, they're upping it to 1,000 horsepower just for his personal car, not for a freaking stock car, for the owner's personal car. 1,000 horsepower, but not
driver,
but not Kyle Larson. That's crazy.
So only Rick Hendrick's man enough to handle this bad boy.
I'm like, damn, what is he doing? But hey, yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
So on the question of if by next year they'll do it, I think there's more of a chance than there was a week ago. For a simple reason here. We're going to go to Martinsville. And if there is no substantial fix at Martinsville, fans are going to be even worse. Because Martinsville, say what you want about Phoenix, Martinsville's a good track.
Like holy ground.
There's a reason that since I was 8 years old, Martinsville has been my favorite track. It is everything I love about short track racing and NASCAR racing all mixed into one. And they have thoroughly butchered that track. Yeah, okay, the races have gotten better. After 50 laps, the tire fall off, all of that. But go back, and I think I even said this during the Gen 6 era when they were doing the 550 package. Go back and look at early Gen 6, even the 750 package for Gen 6, COT races there. See those cars fly way up and then slam right to the ground as they get to the corner and outbraking. Was it Pete Pistone who's like, NASCAR fans are just upset that it's not 3 wide the whole race unless it's a super speedway. No, that's not the problem. I don't want that. That's not what we're asking. What we're asking is that a car that isn't the best car can move through the pack at any point or move past slow cars. I think, was it Daniel Suarez held up Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and like one other fast car for 25 laps. And he was nowhere near as good in speed. It's just there's not that maneuverability. There's not that real ability off the corner even to get him. And when you look at the end of the season, NASCAR is billing the two most important races being who sets the Final Four and who's in the Final Four for the championship. And both those races, quite frankly, if it wasn't for an amazing wall rides, are duds. It's a dud. And you can't have boring championships every single year as a guarantee, or people are diehards will tune out. They got football to watch. They got, the World Series maybe to watch at that time of year. There's plenty of things to take attention off NASCAR when they need it the very most. So to me, I think maybe they could put it to 750. We've seen NASCAR change this car. Remember, this was supposed to be at all tracks, 550 horsepower.
They changed it last minute.
And they changed it last minute. They changed I wouldn't say last minute, but they changed abruptly the 550 at the shorter tracks to 750. And at this point, if the new OEMs like a Honda are going to come in with an engine that can be 670, well, they're still building an engine that'll hit 900 to 1,000 because this engine is just a neutered down engine we had 10 years ago. So I don't see the point of sacrificing some of our best tracks that diehard fans love for OEMs to come in and build completely different engines. I would like to think the people running Honda or anyone else looking in is smart enough to know that these engines are not just purpose-built 700 horsepower engines. I don't mean to interrupt you, but they could be. I think NASCAR wanted to have a new engine package by now. COVID and next gen delays delayed it. That's what I'm saying. I think Honda is probably not going to enter the sport until there's a new engine or a significantly different engine package, some electrification, some hybrid component, whatever. But that's a completely different thing. Like, that's a completely different engine in and of itself. What I'm saying is, in the here and now, why are we sacrificing great racetracks for an engine that's going to be at the same horsepower, but not maybe the same torque, not maybe, anything the same except the horsepower number?
I would guess, and this is just me guessing, NASCAR's perspective is they're wanting to fine tune everything else because they know in a couple of years it will be 670, and that's what the engines will be built for. And I'm with you. I think they should increase it. I think they should go back to 800 or 900 horsepower. But I also will say this: I don't think that will be the fix. I think even 1,000 horsepower won't necessarily be a fix. If it gets rid of shifting, now that would be huge.
Well, I think
but the tires are still more grippy. The tires are bigger. The brakes are better. You talk about Martinsville where they like slam onto the splitter. I don't know if that would happen with the next gen car because of how the front of the car, how the cars are built. My bigger thing is I don't think NASCAR is just doing this to attract a new manufacturer. I think NASCAR, and I tweeted this earlier, I think NASCAR is afraid of dominant drivers. I think they want the field to be closer together. I think that's why the cars are equal. Think about the drivers are basically equal now because with public SMT data being shared between them, they all know how each other drives. NASCAR wants closer fields because it looks good on TV, margin of victory, more theoretically more passing. That all looks good to them. They think that's what the fans want. But the problem is you've sort of put these drivers in such a box that now the greatest drivers don't get a chance to excel as much, and it limits superstars. Like I mentioned earlier, Kyle Larson had that 10-win season. It was boring to some, but for many others, you had to marvel at it. This dude took a year off and went out and won 10 races. Yeah. That's a superstar.
I agree with that sentiment. And I think that's what it is. What I will say, I don't agree with NASCAR's thinking on it because they built a system, no matter what way you look at it, that holds drivers back, no matter what car, from winning championships in a row. And because of that and the desperation that other drivers have, winning all those races. Kyle Larson, even winning all those at the end of the Gen 6 era, that was an anomaly. It was I want to say 14, 15 years since Jimmy Johnson did the same thing. Before that, about another 10 or so years between Jeff Gordon. It's just something that's consistently through better fields change. I want NASCAR to be open with it. They're so open with the schedule. They're so open with trying new things and everything else but the hard questions. And that for me is what's thrown me off is if that's your plan, come out and say it. We'll get it. No one, and I don't think that's really going to hurt the business model. It's the quiet part out loud, I guess, but this is like the one blind spot where it just seems like those up top are like, yeah, that'd be nice, but I'm going to bury my head in the sand and we're just going to ignore it until the next time, and the same conversation over and over and over again.
It's hard to get a clear answer from NASCAR, so it leads us to all speculate. Oh, it must be because Honda. And it's like, well, yeah, well, if a fourth manufacturer comes in, I get, but you've been talking about this for 10 years. The horsepower has gone down for 10 years and there hasn't been a new manufacturer. Maybe finally we're about to break through and get one, but boy, it hasn't happened yet. So it's, that sounds like wasted breath. And then, my theory about wanting the field to be more equal, we're just coming up with different theories now. And then at the end of the day, the next gen car with how it was designed, more horsepower may not even fix it. That's what sucks. We can talk all about this. If they get to 1,000 horsepower, that might fix a lot of issues, or at least at the short tracks. But if they go to 800 or 750, 800, might not fix any of these problems. Racing might be marginally better, like Phoenix was this past weekend with all the aero changes. So that's the part that I'm just exhausted talking about this week, because everyone's kind of saying the same thing, but we don't. NASCAR refuses to test it, and even if they did test it, I still think there's a great chance it wouldn't fix anything. So it's just kind of frustrating. It's a tough spot. Yeah. I don't know. Does anybody have any other thing else we could? Because I was going to move on, but go ahead, Jet.
I was gonna say something. First off, do I sound good?
It's up and down still.
Here and there, yeah.
I'm gonna break something.
I mean, if you want to try and come in on your phone, that might be better. If you want to exit out and then come back in on your phone, that might be better.
You think that would be good? All right.
Yeah, give it a shot. No, I'll let you back in. We'll go from there.
All right. I mean, it's still up and down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean,
I do sincerely apologize, folks.
You're good, bro.
That's quite all right. While he's getting that stuff, Dane, did you had something you want to chime in? I thought I saw you raise your hand. Maybe I was batting my eyes.
I guess
I like your Brexton Bush shirt, by the way. Is that what that is?
Yeah. I couldn't decide what to wear, and Claudia's like, "Why don't you wear this one? You haven't worn this one in a while." I was like, "Oh yeah, I haven't."
I didn't even know you had that shirt, to be honest. Did you
I
get
got
it?
a sport B-Rex coming up through.
B-Rex.
B-Rex.
Lord.
A new nickname. I already got the nickname already. But yeah, look, I just go by what Christopher Bell said in an interview last year. Upping the horsepower won't fix all the issues, but it'll fix enough of it to where the racing is noticeably better. So, hey, he won last week. Hey, he's a Cup Series driver. I'm just gonna go off of what he says on that.
If you win, your opinion is the last. That's what we've decided. Yes. So once Jet gets his mic plugged or fixed back up, we'll
be back in a second. Yeah,
we'll talk about the engines. I'll move on for just a moment because we can be quick on this. NBC is reportedly replacing Rick Allen with Lee Diffie. Gosh, Darian, can you be any more subtle?
Well, no, dude.
Replacing Rick Allen with Lee Diffie after the Olympic break. So Rick Allen supposedly will call the first few races on NBC this year, but after the Olympics, Lee Diffie is expected to take over, with Rick Allen moving to the Xfinity Series.
The reason I'm so excited is because this is one of my last memories watching NASCAR before I started the channel, before I met you guys, because it's one of those races where dang, he actually commentated a NASCAR race. And then I remember watching it from start to finish. And for some reason, that finish, just that green, white checkered call has always stuck in my head to me, just for a Michigan race. I don't know. It's just, it's so random, restart? But yeah, the blinding restart sure.
That finish sticks out to me because Matt Kenseth's car was so damn tight. He just he goes into turn one and just parks it on the inside lane, screwing up the entire bottom row.
Yeah, and then Trevor Bayne out of nowhere, he goes, Trevor Bayne in the sixth. I'm like, yeah, where did he come from? He's running third at one point, ends up getting a top five. But nah, dude, he's an awesome IndyCar commentator, and he also does stuff for the Olympics as well. So just overall, a marvelous sports commentator. And don't forget, he did stuff for Formula One for a while when they were on NBC Sports. So this guy is well experienced and used to do a lot of stuff for the old Speed Channel as well. So now I saw some haters saying, "Oh, he's not American." Who cares? Who cares if he's not? He's great. Well, that's all that matters.
I do wonder. I think he's great, but I do wonder, and I'm being serious, if some fans who are used to hearing one accent for basically the last 50 years of NASCAR broadcasts, they hear a thick Australian accent on their TV. I'm just saying, I saw someone in the chat earlier, 5 minutes ago, saying, put the door numbers back in the center. Fans care about these basic aesthetic things. And if you change them, some fans are going to complain. That doesn't mean necessarily the right to complain about it, but I'm just saying some fans are going to not like Lee Diffie's accent. What did he say? I can't understand it. There's going to be some of that, whether it's justified or not. That's my only concern, and it's probably not a fair one. I think Lee Diffie's a great choice. Danny, do you think Rick Allen is going to go join Dale Jr. at Amazon Warner Brothers, or do you think what's next for Rick Allen at NBC now that he's getting this supposed demotion?
I think Rick Allen could be looking at all of his options. I think we are in a situation where I feel like Mike Joy has got to be considering whether it's time to go find a beach home next to Nick Saban and just call it a day or something like that at this point. But and if he does retire, then I think Fox could be in a situation where maybe Adam Alexander should they go if maybe they say, hey, Rick Allen, we worked a few way back in the day on the Speed Channel back when it was, kind of a thing that was kind of run a little bit by the same people that was doing Fox's coverage and all that. So maybe they say, Rick Allen, would you like to come over to Fox or something like that?
Yeah, really quick, I'll go out a little on left field here. Just knowing Rick Allen's background, he was a pretty good track and field athlete at the University of Nebraska. He just did a whole triathlon stream on HBO Max. He has history with also doing Olympic and also time trial stuff with NBC. So I feel like I'm not saying he's totally done with NASCAR, but I feel like now maybe might be the time where he starts to expand more into more of the sports field rather than just motorsports, if that makes sense.
That could be true. It'd be interesting to see if, because he's called Olympic stuff for NBC in the past. He could do that again. He's probably going to do it again this year. And
he was a 4-year tracker. He was a 4-year Letterman runner. Yeah,
he's very qualified to talk on it.
Yeah.
Jarrett, where do you think Rick Allen goes next? If you had to guess,
I think he follows Dale Jr. and probably Steve Letarte and goes to the Amazon side, the dark side of the force. Just because you got the Letarte connection with business dealings. I know you have the same with Burton. Maybe he'll go there too. But I have a feeling Junior will have a lot to say with NASCAR people in there. NBC I think it's the best thing for NBC to kind of clean house, start again, and build up more consistency with other people in the booth and on pit road. I don't think rerunning people will help NBC.
Taking that deal with Amazon Warner Brothers, that's got to be, such good money for a much reduced schedule on their part.
Yeah, less work.
Unless they're doing practice and qualifying the first half of the year, then that's
good point. Yeah.
Is he back in the Zoom call yet?
He's ready to go. Let's let him in now.
Sounds good.
Great.
We'll get his his take on Rick Allen.
All right, speak.
Problems. Hey, Jet. You sound good there. We wanted to get your take real quick on Lee Diffie joining NBC's NASCAR coverage, potentially full time starting later this year. What do you think?
I love it. Oh,
all right.
I've been a huge Lee Diffie fan, even when he was doing Formula One races for the Speed Channel and Bar Barsha wasn't on it. I've always loved him, how he called races, his excitement, his enthusiasm. And when he called those couple races, I think in 2017 for the Cup Series, to me, he is he's been one of my all-time favorite racing commentators. So to see him get the nod to do some Cup races, at least for the second half of NBC's portion, the second half of NBC's portion, I'm a huge fan of. But while I was getting my thing set up, I was listening to the stream about how NBC maybe should take the direction of cleaning house with, not only Dale Jr. leaving, it looks like maybe Rick Allen on the move out. I think setting up for this new TV deal in 25, I think it would be a perfect opportunity for NBC to kind of just reset and focus on, okay, how do we make these next 8 years for NBC's portion of NASCAR good for the viewers?
Yeah, I think that stability will be good, hopefully. I'm really excited to see how all the new broadcast partners line up their booths with the CW doing all the Xfinity races. Who do they get? maybe that could be a landing spot for Rick Allen eventually. You never know.
That'd be such a downgrade, though.
yeah, from
Yeah.
Adam Alexander to, well, fair enough.
Well, no, like considering Rick Allen, like, because he, doing
doing
Cup
Cup,
Series championship, and now back to Xfinity.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a fair point. He might not want to go that direction. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Rick Allen to Amazon. Potentially, that's what Jarrett said. Rick Allen could go follow Dale Jr. Amazon and Warner Brothers could just become the new NBC, and NBC starts fresh. That's a very real possibility. Jet, before we move on, did you have anything you wanted to say about the 1,000 horsepower? I know we had the technical issues, but I didn't want to cut you off if you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, well, the thing I wanted to mention, and it revolves around when Larson's interview with Dale Jr., is that why not try it? It's like NASCAR, they spend so much money on, new aero packages, new designs, tires, things like that. But it's like, we can put this whole horsepower thing to bed if we try it. Listen, if it doesn't work, then okay, fine, it doesn't work. But it's just knowing that we know NASCAR is willing to try so many things to make it entertaining. But this one thing is just, for the life of me, I can't understand why they won't at least try it. You don't have to mandate it, make it, you don't have to say, all right, we're going 900, but at least for like a 2-day test session or something. All right, let's see how it works.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. I was it Jared or one of y'all said earlier, like NASCAR kind of the same thing. Like NASCAR's tried so many things. It's weird that this is the one thing that they're like not wanting to try. So I agree with you, Jet. The fact that they don't try it is concerning. And that's just what I've been racking my brain over the last few days, is trying to figure out, well, why? Is it just because they want Honda in and they think Honda is afraid of it? Is it because they want the drivers to be more equal, the cars to be closer? Like, why? We all kind of have to guess, because I don't feel like we've gotten a straight answer, because no straight answer makes total sense. So It's confusing. It's frustrating, but luckily this weekend at Bristol, we don't have to talk about it. Coda, don't have to talk about it. But then Martinsville, right? We'll be talking about it.
That's it.
Anyway,
that's not next.
let's move on. We've got our final few segments of the night, some of our most fun segments of the evening. We really appreciate all of you sticking with us. Over 600 viewers. We've hit the 500 like threshold. Jarrett, should we do the prediction segment first and then the random driver of the week?
Yeah, I think that should work. So,
okay. And then we'll do our Bristol preview at the very end. So let's get to this. Every week, guys, we make 3 bold predictions each. Could be about the weekend's upcoming race. Could be about just the season, maybe the next year or so. Could be about anything racing related. And we keep track of whose predictions have come true. There's no exact science to this, but I will pat myself on the shoulder. So far through this year, nearly half of my predictions have been proven correct. Let's
give the accountability session first. I want to show them how right and wrong you were.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You've got these specific things up there. Yeah, take it away, Jarrett. I'll leave it to you.
So when it came to me, I thought that the race would score over 50% net positive in the poll, because the last one did at Phoenix. I was wrong. So that was my one to come off the board this week. Eric, a lot of green here.
Hell yeah.
I'll read off the negative first. You guessed that 2 SHR cars would finish top 10. You were 2 spots away.
Yeah, if Gregson got in there, damn it.
But you got 3 others right. You said Danny B will be leading the pick points after the West Coast swing. Spoiler alert.
Good job, Danny. You're welcome.
You said
I got the title to back it.
You said the spring Phoenix viewership would be at least 10% over what 2023.
It was damn near 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you said that Chevrolet would not get a win in either race at Phoenix.
That left rear tire, thank goodness. Sorry, Justin Allgaier.
As for Darian, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He said there would be 10 or more cautions in the Xfinity race.
Brother, what?
Hey, Xfinity can be crazy sometimes.
There was that one big crash.
Yeah.
He said Alex Palou would win the IndyCar season opener.
Oh, he was way off. He was way off. He was so
and
off.
He said 3 Hendrick Motorsports entries would be in the top 4 in the Phoenix race.
Oh my
How are you
God.
thinking?
Oh, that's the funniest one. I forgot about that. That's the funniest one by far.
Like you could have maybe at least tried to say two, but you went
Yeah,
for
you went for it.
3/4.
Yeah.
And so we go to Danny, who had nothing come off the board. So neutral week for Danny.
Yeah.
So Eric, take us away. Who's leading the way?
So yes, I got a little too excited earlier, got ahead of myself. But right now I'm 6 for 14 in predictions this year, leading the way. Darian 5 for 13, still a pretty solid percentage. Jarrett 2 for 6. Hey, that's a great batting average in baseball. And Danny 2 for 7. Still need some more to come off the board, but that's why it's that time of the show. We're each going to make 3 new predictions. And Jet, you're a special guest this week. We're also going to put you on the spot and make you make some bold predictions. But I guess you won't be here next week, so you can get really crazy with it. We're not going to get to hold you accountable in person so much. So we'll go. What order should we go in, Jared? Do we want to make Jet go first?
Yeah, let's have Jet go first and just go
right.
points order on it. So.
All right, we'll throw him under the bus. Go for it, Jet.
Okay, so 3 predictions for this weekend.
Just go do one at a time.
Give me
So
one
it's
at
just
a
your
time.
first one. Yeah.
All right. Ty Gibbs is going to win this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Oh.
No,
All right.
I'm telling you.
Already got the winner pick.
Starting off hot already.
Yeah, I'm going hot.
I'm gonna start off on a somber, soggy note. I think that both the truck and cup race will be somewhat impacted by weather this weekend.
That is fair.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is I feel like based off of what we saw last week, I feel like the Toyota's success will continue. Toyota's lead, they will lead at least half of the race. So 250 of the 500 laps, Toyota.
Okay.
Kind of the theme from last week. I'll piggyback off that one a little bit. I think at least 4 Toyotas will finish in the top 10 in the cup race.
You almost stole one of mine, Jarrett. You're gonna be surprised in a moment. What do you got, Danny?
Okay, this is one I will not be able to verify this since I'll be at the race this weekend. So one of you guys have to pay attention to this. Clint Boyer will make an absurd food joke regarding one or more of the food-related cars, especially Almondinger's Cheetos and Mountain Dew car this weekend. We have a total of 5 food and drink-related cars in the Food City 500.
The old
Okay.
Ratchet Girl diet car.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, say I'm lying. Hey, everyone knows.
I
We all know.
trust
Nah,
me.
you ain't lying.
My homeroom, I sat next to a girl for 4 years who
Yeah.
did that. Mountain Dew and Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, it's twerking in the background. But that's too much. Anyways,
I don't want
let's
to talk
go.
that far.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's go.
In homeroom? Goodness gracious. All right.
They didn't go that far at my school.
Jet.
Freaky.
What's your second
Freaky
prediction?
at 9 a.m. is crazy.
It was 6 a.m. But go ahead.
I have way too many jokes in my head. Oh, you know what? I feel like that the good news of NASCAR will continue. Danny, you said it'll be up 10%. I think it's going to continue on. I think ratings for this weekend will be up 15%.
Ooh, I'll raise you another 5. Yeah, all right. I like it. It's like turning into an
I-
auction here. Well, kind of in that same vein, Jarrett said that 4 Toyotas will finish top 10.
Oh,
I actually
no.
wrote down that 6 Toyotas will finish top 10 at Bristol this weekend.
Hey,
Hey,
I
Eric
said
Jones
at
is pretty.
least. We could
Eric
both be
Jones is-
right.
We could. Eric Jones is pretty damn good here as well. I think there's going to be 6.
All right. So continuing with the SHR positivity, I will go wild here. I will say we see 3 SHR entries finish in the top 10. That's right. I said it. 3 of the 4
He
finish
said it.
inside
He
the
can't
top
take
10.
it back.
Okay.
Can't take it back.
I for a second thought you were going to say top 5.
Oh, no.
5 Stuart Haas cars in the top. Wait, what? Hold on.
5.
Well, I'm going to go on a little positive note here, too. Looking at some of the new weather forecasts, I think both Bristol races this weekend will run on their scheduled time and dates.
Oh, okay. The opposite of me. All right. Danny, what do you got?
I like how a lot of some of you guys was doing like, this many people in the top 10 or whatever. I'm going with one person for this one. It's not a give me per se, but it is a layup. Kyle Busch will get a top 5 in both races this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One more, Jet. What's your last one?
I'm going to stay on that RCR train, Danny. I say Austin Dillon gets a top 10 finish.
Boy, he needs it.
He hates it bad.
I mean, he really does. But you know what? I feel like he's got some good luck in him. Well,
All
actually, no,
right.
he doesn't. But I'm giving him good luck.
It's got to be in there somewhere. My final prediction: Christopher Bell will lead Joe Gibbs Racing in wins this season.
Okay.
Hmm.
So for my final prediction, dang it, now I'm drawing a blank. I'll say for the Truck Series race, I'll say Raja Karuth is competing for the win at the very end, just like I did with Suarez. I'm just like I made that prediction for Atlanta.
Top 2 or 3, I guess, relatively close to the lead.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay.
I'll say he's battling for the lead on the final lap. There you go.
What
Yeah,
if he's
man,
like
took my
way
pick.
ahead? What if he's like 5 seconds ahead and he wins by 5 seconds?
Well, then he went. I still get it. He won.
Okay.
So.
I'm going off NASCAR a little bit on this one. I'm going to say that by
Not
the
allowed.
NASCAR playoffs, we will have confirmation from either a good source, so a Bob Pockrass, whoever, or Ray Evernham on where the first revamped IROC race will be held by the NASCAR playoffs. Like by the time we have the green flag at Atlanta.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay.
And including stage cautions, I say that the Truck Series will be over 10 cautions this weekend.
All right.
That's fair. That's
So that
fair.
would
All right.
be 8 race cautions and, well, no, sorry, it'd have to be 9 race cautions and 2 stage cautions to reach 11, which would be over 10.
Okay. All right. Not
Okay.
bad. Not bad. I'm excited to see how those turn out 1 week from tonight. Good luck to everyone. We hit 500 likes quite a bit earlier. I think this is a record for likes on one of our streams this year. So chat, give yourselves a round of applause. You have unlocked the Icebergs Random Driver of the Week segment. So Jet, how this works, Jarrett is going to give us 1 clue at a time, and we have a total of 3 guesses each. So you don't want to use all your guesses right away. We usually wait for Jarrett to give a few clues before we start making guesses. But the first person to guess the random driver, could be past, present, I guess not future, past or present from any series, gets the win, gets the point. We're not allowed to look at the chat. It's Scouts Honor.
Okay.
Silence the chat. Don't look at it. We'll see who gets the dub this week.
So we always minimize the tab for YouTube so we can't see the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like this. Okay.
Yes. All right, Jarrett. Hopefully you have a good one for us this week.
I hope so. I hope we get past 6 freaking clues. Like
Yeah,
last week.
Darian speed ran it last week. We've
I was
struggled in
pretty quick on that
previous
Greg Sacks
episodes.
one too.
And just to kind of give also, because we don't repeat them, last couple weeks and not in the order, we had JJ Yaley, Brian Vickers, Greg Sachs, Jimmy Johnson, Shane Huffman, and Jennifer Jo Cobb.
All over the place.
Yeah, we're try and stay all over the place. So let's start this out. This random driver went to the University of Florida. No guesses?
Graduated or just went?
No guesses? No guesses on either question?
Okay, no.
Tim Tebow, right?
I think I have an idea.
This random driver spent over 6 years at the Salvation Army.
Okay.
So, again, trying to keep it a little vague so I can at least get to past the minimum.
All right.
Okay.
Cool, they didn't guess it on the first one. How about that?
Wait, has the chat gotten it yet?
No.
Oh, thank God.
This random driver is trilingual, so speaks 3 languages:
Very
English,
impressive.
Spanish, and Chinese.
Is that what they studied?
Chinese.
in Florida?
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I'm like waiting for the first one to get it.
In my head, I was like, "Oh, Florida, Ross Chastain." I cannot picture him speaking Chinese.
Hell no.
I can't picture any drivers speaking Chinese.
This random driver was publicly endorsed by the late Sam Bass for their skill in racing.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how anyone's gonna get
And
this.
he endorsed
I'm
a lot of people, right?
drawing so many blanks.
Yeah, I got
Alright.
no clue.
This random driver has been in NASCAR since 2006.
Okay,
Is he
so
still
there.
in NASCAR?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
While in college, the fraternity this driver was in was also the fraternity that included the likes of 23rd U.S. President Benjamin Harrison, Lou Gehrig, Burt Reynolds, and Neil Armstrong.
Oh my god.
That doesn't help me any.
Yeah, help at all.
I already see people
That
starting to get
doesn't-
it.
They
Oh,
got
man.
it.
Some did, yeah. They get it.
Oh.
They get it quick.
Damn.
It's a hive mind down there. They're drawing off each other for strength.
Because they get to look up the
I feel
answer.
like there's not many NASCAR drivers who would have went to the University of Florida, so they just looked that up.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I
random
don't know.
driver's highest NASCAR points finish was 7th.
Is this Cup Series or
Can-
Xfinity or
Yeah,
any
what to say?
truck?
Is it Cup?
Truck.
Truck?
Okay.
Can we get the
No.
year?
No.
Get the year.
That's
Can I
a little
have
too
it?
much.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
No, but I can tell you their birthday,
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
December
That ain't gonna help.
26th.
Oh,
Okay.
I know. I don't know. I
December
feel like we got to
26th.
make a guess. I've got no clue.
right.
I'm gonna make my first guess. I'm just gonna get out of the way. I don't think the year's quite right, but I'm gonna say Eric Almirola.
Okay, all right. Because you said all right.
He
because
speaks
you-
Spanish, I'm sure. I don't know, maybe not. I think he's from Florida.
Okay, you said Florida. So I know this guy ran a Florida skiing before, and he's so random. Michael Rich.
Nope.
Okay, he's so random. Yeah, it's such a random driver. I figured.
This random driver garnered praise through the years from Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Rick Hendrick, and Steve Phelps.
What? That is like
University of
getting
Florida.
recognition just as a person.
It,
Or you can't
in
answer that.
NASCAR. Yeah,
They just
this
they just
random
probably
driver
they tweeted about him at some point. Hey, so and so
No,
looks real good
publicly-
today.
publicly, like on a show.
Okay, so it was
Interviews.
Dale Jr.,
So it's not a no
Jeff
name.
Gordon.
It's not some
Jeff
nobody.
Gordon,
Rick Hendrick, and Steve Phelps.
Rick Hendrick.
Uh,
Bro, that is.
I'm trying to think who would have been in a fraternity in college.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, this random driver
Do you
also
think Josh
owns,
Williams speaks Chinese?
owns a race team.
He owns
Also-
a race team.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm gonna
owns.
make a guess.
Go
Is
for
it is it Timmy Hill?
It is not.
can I
Ooh,
make
is he
another
from
guess?
Florida?
Can I make another guess? Oh, go.
Whichever one you want to go first.
Justin Marks.
You're wrong again.
Ah!
You said owns, so it's currently.
Oh,
hmm
Uh.
Can be in any form of racing, though, not just NASCAR.
Oh, okay. Oh, that.
Because the
Yeah, I
Justin
got
Marks
some
one
of
was a
that.
good guess.
yeah.
But
Now
Derek,
I only
you're down
have
to
one
one,
more
right?
guess. Yeah, I'm down to one. Yeah, shit.
I got no clue.
Things
Yeah,
I want
I
to
have
make a
some
guess, but I
clues.
don't know who to guess.
Yeah, I have some guesses, but I don't want to burn them because I don't think they're right.
Yeah, you made this harder. Shit.
This random driver, I believe, has only been in 2 NASCAR games, though he could have been in more. I'm not really changing
Next-
all that much
Have-
in your guessing.
Next clue.
All right. We've got past the 6 easily. Unfortunately for this random driver, they suffered 2 major family losses in a 5-week span. Both were highly publicized.
Family members highly publicized. And yeah, you were praised by Steve Phelps, so it's got to be recent.
And your best finish was 7th in trucks.
This random driver has participated in the Truck Series, as well as Xfinity, both K&N Series, and the NASCAR Euro Series.
Oh.
The Euro Series.
No. I was gonna make a guess, but no.
Who speaks Chinese?
Just throw
me
That's
so far
the thing
off.
that's what throws me off the most.
Yeah.
I don't know many NASCAR drivers that speak more than one language.
I say, hey y'all.
This random driver has never had their name tweeted by any of the 4 podcast hosts, though, when I scrolled through the years, was tweeted once by Jet.
Oh.
Okay.
You dug through our tweets?
Oh,
It's not that hard.
Wait. Hold on. I know this is off topic, but what else did you find?
I didn't find anything incriminating. You're good. And
Okay,
if so,
one sec.
I would have told you and had you delete it.
Yeah.
I
I
got
was
your
a
back.
different man, but I was a kid back then. Okay, give
I
me
got
some
your
slack.
back.
So they're
Who
relevant
did I
enough to have
tweet?
Steve Phelps talking about him, Dale Jr. saying something, but we haven't tweeted about them,
Mm-hmm.
at least not
What would
directly.
I tweeted about him?
Not their name.
The only names that are coming to mind, I'm like, these people definitely don't own a team right now.
Yeah. Huh.
I like
Gosh,
the
this
chat saying different things that aren't true when in fact I did my research and are true.
are they has the chat, are they like consensus they've got it at this point?
Some have, but not all of them.
Oh, so like even the ones who've got it aren't like 100% sold that they've got it yet.
Wow.
All right.
Who did I tweet?
See, I do these
hanging you
things
up now.
just to throw you guys off. Let's see. This random driver is a triathlete.
Oh, I almost have no. There's no way.
Nah.
No, he ran Cup. Damn it.
Yeah, keep going.
Let's go back to this side of the page and see what we got. This random driver was a Mark Martin development driver for 4 years.
Whoa! I don't know why I made that noise. Development driver. Is it Todd Clever or whatever his name is?
It is not.
Cleaver.
Todd Cleaver.
Cleaver, Clever,
I have
whatever.
I have no clue if this is going to be it, but I'm going to guess Colin Braun.
It is not.
Okay.
Ooh,
That was a good one.
How many
I'll
guesses
burn-
do you have
because-
left?
I think Danny and
I have
Darian
one
only
more.
have one, so
I have
I'll
one.
burn a second
I
one.
got two.
I'll go Josh Wise.
You went wrong.
I don't even think he owns a team.
damn.
I was guessing maybe Colin Braun was owning something like some other series I haven't heard of or something like that.
I got two more. Oh man.
How many more clues do you have, Jared? This is like one of the longest ones we've ever done.
Let's see. I got like 15 more.
What the?
Damn.
Oh my.
All right, okay, we're
I
past
go-
9 o'clock. Let's keep
I go
going.
in depth, man.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
does, man.
Oh, you'll get it. You'll get it.
All right.
This random driver won a race while it was raining.
Okay, I'm gonna assume it's trucks because he finished 7th. Could have had a truck win there.
Mm-hmm. That random driver's only win was a truck win.
Okay, and he finished 7th in truck.
I'm just not remember many rain truck races at this point.
This random driver's hometown is Daytona Beach.
Oh wait, is it Ben Kennedy?
It is.
Damn it!
Yes.
That's a
I
good
thought about him.
Wait,
Oh.
one.
Wait,
that's-
and it was Bristol, right?
Bristol.
That-
It was raining at the end of the
yeah,
race.
I really, literally
In
just
Victory
watched
Lane
that the other day.
on a Wednesday night.
Oh.
It was raining.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking rain shortened, but
wait,
yeah,
It
what
wasn't-
team is he on? I just thought he was big in NASCAR at this point.
I think he did own his own team
He
briefly.
raced for Richard Childress
Yeah.
Racing in Xfinity.
He did.
I remember he
He
had,
was
he
in
had
the
his
2 car.
own team in the K&N, right?
Yeah, and
He did, yeah.
it's still up. It's still running. It doesn't. I
Oh.
don't
Oh.
know who the driver at the moment is. Some of the other clues were going to
Dude.
be that he's a 4th generation member of NASCAR.
Oh, that probably would have given it away.
That
Gosh.
he
Mm.
participated in American Ninja Warrior at Daytona International Speedway.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm
helped
depressed.
NASCAR expand into different
Okay.
markets.
Yeah, that's him.
Part of a
yeah.
large American privately owned company.
Mm.
He's
Okay.
32
NASCAR, yes,
years
okay.
old.
Yeah,
and then at that
yeah.
point, like if you guys didn't get it, I was gonna be like,
Well,
met
well,
President Trump at the 2025 100,
Oh.
works for NASCAR, and his mom works for NASCAR. His initials are BK, and his uncle is Brian France. If you
BK
really
Racing.
needed it,
yeah. Well, the thing,
Brad Keselowski.
well, what threw me off was because once you said like, oh, he's had this recognition. Oh, he went to the University of Florida. I was thinking Ben Kennedy, but then what threw me off was you said he's been in trucks since 2006. I didn't know.
no,
that.
I said he's been in
Or-
NASCAR since
or NASCAR.
2006.
Yeah, since NASCAR.
I didn't say how
Yeah.
he was in NASCAR.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
That's
wait.
what threw me off.
Yeah.
Back it up. Back it up.
Okay,
Ben Kennedy speaks Chinese.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just
yeah.
about to say.
I looked on his LinkedIn.
So,
Wow.
is he gonna work to get a Chinese NASCAR race?
Well, if you remember back in 2019, they were actually
talked
talking
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
note to self: never say "Go Vols" to Ben Kennedy unless I want him to gator chomp me back.
Yeah. But no, that was a good
Wow,
one.
that was
a good one.
that was good.
I like Cy Supersonic. That's no fair. Nobody watches KNN. That's your problem.
Yeah.
As soon as you said Daytona Beach, I'm like, it has to be. Like I only know one person
Yeah.
that had that
Yeah.
was recognized by Steve
See-
Phelps. I mean, very few people. I think
I was seeing
with
if I
those
could get you
names.
guys to think of Raja with that one because of the
I
Hendrick
did come across my
connection,
name,
Steve
but
Phelps.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
He was
in
too
DC.
young.
That-
Yeah.
He's DC
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
But the thing is if
I
I
knew that.
throw them all in different ways to you guys, like sometimes
Mhm.
you give me answers that are like aren't true, but you're just gonna shoot. So good job,
Someone
Jet.
said Ward Burton.
So-
Thank you.
So Ben
Yeah.
Kennedy is
Ward
really
speaks his
gonna
own
work.
language.
Ben Kennedy is really gonna work on getting the Guangdong Tigers a NASCAR team.
Yes, ni hao. Ni hao.
They should
Yeah.
hire Chase Elliott.
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
So that was fun.
That was fun.
that was
Jet,
fun.
the special guest coming in playing spoiler on our random driver of the week
Yeah.
segment. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you all again, chat, for getting us to that 500 like threshold. I think this is a season high for us in likes. That's amazing. It's time now to talk Bristol, folks. We're already past the top of the hour. We're going into NWP overtime. Jared, if you don't mind, I'm going to let you read the Bristol preview and do all the betting odds because I've got to pee so freaking
All
bad.
good.
I will be back in 2 minutes.
It's funny. Earlier when I left, I had heard a buzzing sound. It was actually because there was a plug-in that was hanging out and it was buzzing, and I'm like, yeah, let's not start a house fire.
Oh my god.
So
Oh my gosh. All right, good. Do your thing, bro.
all right, so this weekend at Bristol, let's start out with the truck race. It's the Weather Guard truck race, 250 laps, 65, 65, 120 is the stages. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, FS1 and the Fox Sports app, as well as MRN and Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Defending winner, which is just the last spring truck race ever at Bristol, which was in 1999, is Jack Sprague. Fun fact on that one.
Yeah.
Forecast is 62 degrees, clear with only a 19% chance of rain. Those chances have been going down all week. They increased this also from last year's 200-lap race that barely went over an hour. So there's that.
Wow.
Cup race is the Food City 500, 500 laps, 125, 125, and 250 are the stage lengths. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time is the start time on the Fox main channel and Fox Sports app, on PRN and Sirius XM radio as well. By the way, these are all via the National Weather Service because people got pissy at me for using AccuWeather and local weather. So via the National Weather Service, it is 60 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, but only a 16% chance of rain on Sunday in Bristol. And the defending winner in 2020 of this race would be Brad Keselowski. And Darian, your betting odds are ready.
And Eric, you came back.
Hold
Oh,
on
go ahead.
just a second. I will just say he may not want to use the local, but I like my local. Even my local says only a 5% chance of precipitation on Sunday now at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
So I'm saying
Well, there you go.
I use local weather and I use AccuWeather and I use the Weather Channel, and people still every time, you're not using the right one. I went to the source, man.
Well, consider my local weather app is based in Knoxville, Tennessee, only about less than 2 hours away from Bristol Motor Speedway. I kind of trust what they're predicting.
Exactly. But
Darian?
Eric, I was about to say. Oh, go ahead.
Who should we be putting money on?
Yes, sir. Eric, you came back just in time for the famous betting odds segment. Right now, Kyle Larson is the odds-on favorite at plus 400, followed by Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, tied at plus 500 apiece. But then it takes a massive dip. William Byron and Ryan Blaney are plus 1,100 apiece, as well as Chris Buescher in the best of the rest category. His car owner, Brad Keselowski, is plus 1,200. Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs are plus 1,300. And Kyle Busch, who has mastered this place, is plus 1,600 in the best of the rest. Now for the underdogs part, Ross Chastain and Joey Logano. Joey Logano, despite being 30th in points, is still listed at plus 1,800, both him and Chastain. Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. are plus 2,000. And then our final major dip is in the underdogs category, as it goes from 2,000 to plus 4,000, with Eric Jones ending it off. Now for the NWP fantasy leagues, the top 5 overall standings are as follows. Jake Titan on YouTube is leading the way, just a dominating season so far. He is leading the way at 800 with a total of 848 points. He is also the Cup Series points leader. In second, also in the Cup Series, is KC is Kato YouTube with 790 points on the Cup side of things. In third, the Truck Series points leader is Not Wife of Redacted with 782. Fourth is Trevor Sports 98, also in the Cup Series, so he's third in the Cup Series rankings with 777 points. And finally, the Xfinity Series points leader in fifth is T-Bird 5930 with 776 points.
Nice. Appreciate everyone joining their fantasy leagues and continuing to participate all year long. That was the fattest pee I think I've taken in a long time. That felt so good. I feel so relieved. This is incredible. Wow. I feel like I could do another 2 hours, but we don't have time or bandwidth for that. Danny's already celebrating the pick points. Danny B leads the way 4 races in. Well, really 5. We did the clash. 73 points for Danny. I'm still second, 12 points back. Chat, we broke the tie, but you're still only 1 point behind me in third, -13. Jarrett is -15 and Darian -16. So still very close between second and fifth. And once again, we've got a special guest this week, Jet, here to potentially play spoiler. So as y'all know, chat, we all must make different picks, and we pick in reverse order of points. So those at the bottom of the leaderboard perhaps get a slight advantage this week. But because we have a special guest, Jet's going to lead things off. So we will start off with the truck race Saturday night. Jet, who is going to win at Bristol?
All right. Well, I've been juggling with 3 names. I have a feeling it's going to be a Chevy car. Or truck, I should say. I was going to side with Raj Karuth, but I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
Figured that was coming. All right.
Yeah.
Darian, you get the number 2 pick.
Dang it, the one week we have a guest, right? The one week we have a guest to take Kyle Busch. Just my luck.
You need to stop saying 7. It's already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone, y'all. I'm going to go with Heim time, Corey Heim.
Oh, God, my top 2 picks off the board instantly. Jarrett, what do you got?
I'm going to go with the guy who probably should have won this race last year, Christian Eckes.
Oh, okay.
Led 200,
good pick.
Led like 180 of the 200 laps or something like that. It was a lot.
A lot of guys in the chat were going 19 as well, so you can't do that. Now I'm getting a lot of 98s from the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be Ty Majeski, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's a good shout.
I had Majeski was my 3rd pick, so I'm down to my 4th pick. Hey, Spire Motorsports has looked great. Why not Raja? I will stick with Raja Karuth. How about that?
There you go.
Is everyone going?
Yep.
Oh yeah, Jarrett was the one, not my top ones. Well, my top 4 are gone, so I'm gonna have to go with my number 5 pick, Nick Sanchez.
Surprised no one took Zane Smith this week.
I tried him last time he was on the I regretted that. I ain't doing that again.
Nobody could trust him.
I looked at remind me, what truck is he in this week?
91.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good, but then okay, we'll do the Cup race. We'll start with the who's gonna suck pick. So Jet, for this one, I mean, I guess you're going first, but this one we can all have similar picks if we want. It's not for points. So who do you think is gonna struggle this weekend in the Cup race?
I feel like the bad luck is going to continue for Joey Logano. I think he's going to suck again this weekend. I just don't see it happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah. I was about to pick Logano too. Just sucks. Yeah. So yeah, Joey Logano. I agree.
Who do you got, Jarrett?
I'll go Josh Berry on this one. Just that team hadn't been in this year.
That's a great point, actually. I was thinking about Josh Berry. I hate to pick on this guy, but Austin Dillon, man, can't do anything right, it seems, no matter how hard he tries. So I'll go Dillon. What about you, Danny? Or chat. I guess we got to go chat. My bad. I skipped over the chat. That's my mistake.
Dillon,
yeah.
Danny, do you have a different pick?
Yeah, this track can be good for him at times. It can also bite him in the butt at times. I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr. actually has a bad weekend.
I was surprised. I was saying, I was surprised his odds were as high as they were. He was like the 14th favorite or something. I was a little surprised, but it makes sense. because it is kind of feast or famine here. Moving on to our underdog picks, our Cup Series dark horse. Who do you got, Jet?
I got Carson Hocevar. I don't know if you can consider him a dark horse still. I mean, but
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
okay. But I mean, I feel like the way he's been running, I've always said he's got a lot of talent. He just keeps making a lot of mistakes. If he cleans up, I won't be surprised if we see him hovering top 10, top 12 area.
I like that pick.
I feel like at this point, Noah Gregson's my definite underdog pick. And also, really quick chat, thank y'all for 600 likes, by far the most this season. Thank y'all.
I don't have another driver lined up, but I do have one at least for the dark horse pick, and I'm going to go with Hocevar as well.
I like that. Chat, I think, was going Ty Gibbs.
I think Chat and I are accepting the fate that because we know it sounds like Ty Gibbs is going off the win board, I can't pick him for that either, so he's my underdog.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't give an underdog, but I would go Eric Jones. I think I mentioned him earlier as Legacy Motor Club. Or Legacy Motor Club had speed this last weekend, and I think Jones is usually pretty good at Bristol, so I'd throw him in there. But now it's time for the most important part of this whole show, which you've all been waiting for.
That's right. It's time for the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Bristol, Jet?
Well, I kind of already. I think Noah said this in the chat. I show my hand, but I think Jesus Christ himself, Ty Gibbs, our Lord and Savior, is going to win.
That's one of my picks off the board, unfortunately.
That was mine.
Yeah. Well, this guy's got the hot hand. I feel like Toyotas, they're the hottest thing in NASCAR right now, and I feel like this guy's gonna take the next step again and win a shit ton of races in 2024. Christopher Bell. I was about to say Chris Buescher for a second. I was like, no, Christopher Bell.
I wouldn't have been surprised if you said
Christopher Buescher.
Yeah.
Gosh, all right. My picks are dropping like flies. How about you, Jarrett?
Damn it. I'll go with my third pick. I'll go with Denny Hamlin.
Oh my God.
that
Okay.
was my number one pick, actually.
Chat. All right. Oh no, please don't say Larson, chat. Where are we going here?
I'm seeing a lot of fives.
There's a lot of 11s, but it's like 11s and then 5s. Oh, here come the 5s.
It's 5. It's 5.
Oh, there's a lot of 8s.
Well,
You want to poll between 5 and 8?
No, it's 5. It's definitely 5.
It's 5.
All
Yeah.
right.
5.
Well, damn, I didn't even make a 5th pick because I figured one of those 4 would be there. Then let's just bullshit for a second here. I'm gonna go. I don't know what his history is here, but I like Toyota and I like the speed he's shown the last couple weeks. Tyler Reddick, how about that?
Honestly, I had this guy. I had another driver still available ahead of him, but honestly, I'm going to go to this guy here. I've seen him win so much in person. I will not be mad if he does it this weekend. Kyle Busch, get him a win, the first yard at one of his best tracks ever.
Yeah.
Another driver who had very long odds considering his history at Bristol Motor Speedway. There we go. All right. That was an exciting one. I feel like we all had the same like 5 drivers in mind for truck and cup, and it was kind of just a bidding war at that point. Who gets who when?
I won't be honest.
I technically had Chris Buescher available ahead of Kyle Busch, but I was like, you know what? If Kyle Busch is available at Bristol, I need to take that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Gibbs and Bell were my 1-2, and so I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I know. I think Ty
Sorry,
Gibbs.
Jarrett. I'm sorry, man.
I wouldn't have got him.
Ty Gibbs led like 100 laps here last fall in the night race, and he's better now. So
Let's see.
Someone said that the Vikings should get Fields. I'm sorry, no.
No.
I had to break the tension on that
I
one.
feel like they're saying that just to get a reaction.
Yeah. No.
He's unruinable, according to some people.
Well, we have gone long tonight, but we're going to wrap things up with our final super chat stage break. Really appreciate everyone's support. We're going to blow through these very quickly here. Fred Dog 81 sent a couple of super chats earlier tonight. After this West Coast swing, are you more or less convinced in needing Sonoma to be put in this stretch? I think it would add variety early in the season. I still would like to see an early Sonoma race just for a change of pace, but does it need it? No, but would I like to see it? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then his other comment, we're talking about the 22, like he's over the hill. He talking about feeling old when meeting drivers who rooted for him as kids. A reminder, he's still only 33. He's still very much in his prime, maybe even the front half of his prime, but He's an old 33 considering how early he got into the sport. Nas Carson says, hey, NWP guys, anyone going to Bristol this weekend? I was at the 2014 night race and the first ever flood weekend in 2021, the Monday dirt race.
Oh,
are you going to be there, Darian?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so just Danny. We'll have fun out there, Danny. Hopefully you run into Nas Carson. I guess Nas Carson does not say.
Nas Carson, if you will go to Bob Pockers's tweet up, I usually try to make it out to all those.
Nice. Never Was Cool says, when do you think the 23 team will have enough pit crew mistakes to find new guys who don't cost them races, or do you think there's some other reason they keep having those kinds of mistakes? For me, it feels like all the Toyota pit crews have made a mistake at some point or another this year. Bell's team had a couple of slow stops this past weekend. I don't know off the top of my head. I know Reddick had issues at Vegas, same different year, So it feels like it's a Toyota issue, but maybe 2311 trying to develop their own pit crews for a change are still going through some growing pains. I don't know. Tyler McGonigal, I read this one earlier, said put dirt on Phoenix. Okay. Jared Davey says, hey, went to my first NASCAR race this last weekend. Loved the experience and the infield experience. The race, however, was just okay. Yeah, that's Phoenix. That's Phoenix.
Yeah.
I hope you had a great time, Jared. Yeah, Phoenix is a great fan experience, but the on-track racing often leaves a bit to be desired. That is fair. David Bell, I believe hashtag Team Toyota will be strong this weekend again. Go get him, Christopher. Hashtag Team 20.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on Christopher's big victory this past weekend, David. Good to see you. Sharkzilla says the atmosphere and facilities at Phoenix are amazing is a code phrase for yes, the track and racing. Yes, the track and racing on it sucks. Nobody ever talks about Daytona facilities because there's other stuff it does right. I talk about
Sounds
Daytona.
like every F1 race.
Yeah. Every track
that's
we talk about their facilities.
I think we got exposed a little bit there by that comment.
I've said Daytona has the greatest stadium in the world.
I've said that's fair. Have said that about Daytona.
I've talked about Las Vegas's Neon Garage, how it started the trend for for those garages.
Pit stop perspectives. If Chase goes winless, will he still be the most popular driver? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll win something at least.
Yeah.
Dude could crash every race and he'd still win it at this point.
He could retire tomorrow and probably win the vote. If he was on the ballot, at least.
He could commit murder and he'd still be most popular driver. Let's be honest.
He could be OJ and still be.
Okay, all right, Derek.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
where do we draw the line? Maybe like
see if Logano's glove fits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zion Harris, thank you for the 2. As a BK fan, should I be worried about the streak, the winless streak? It's over 100 races now. I think there's a great chance he wins this year. I don't know. I think you should have been worried about it like 50 races ago. If you're worried about it now, I feel like just ride it out. You'll win eventually and you'll enjoy it. But I'm sure it's been a tough stretch. It's been rewarding, I'm sure, to see RFK grow and improve, but they're still not quite where they want to be. Marky Mark, thanks for the 2. Wreck happens 2 years later. Clint Boyer, whoa, what's going on?
He wrecked that hot rod.
He did a couple times during the race. Like, it's like he wasn't listening or watching anything and just like reacted to a crash like 5 seconds after it had happened. Like, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Hamlin. It was like Hamlin spins out racing for the lead. The cars come to a stop and you just hear Boyer, oh, Hamlin's around, the leader. And I was like, where was he? Was he in the bathroom like me, taking a break, and just came back just in time to see the wreck? It was confusing. Anyway, people say I shit on Clint Boyer a lot. I do. He's not very good. I'm sorry. I like Clint Boyer as a person. He's not good in the booth. I'm convinced. Will Griffin, thank you for the 2. Will you guys be going to Dover or Pocono this year?
No.
Not this year.
Definitely not Dover. Pocono is always a maybe, but I don't have any current plans. Daniel Meredith Jr., which are you thinking is most likely to happen? Larson wins his second championship this year or finishes top 5 in the Indy 500? Ooh.
Oh, that's
top 5 in Indy 500 because I don't think those Hendrick cars at Phoenix are going to stand if a Ford or Toyota gets in, which is probable.
Yeah, right now, top 5. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take the Indy.
I'm going to take actually more likely to win the second championship. I don't think he'll be top 5.
I think before Phoenix, I would have taken the championship because of how good he was at Vegas, riding that high, looked dominant. But after what we saw at Phoenix, I actually would go Indy. I think if Kurt Busch can finish 6th, Kyle Larson can finish 5th. Alex Left, thanks for the 5. Hey, Danny, as a fan of both NASCAR and wrestling, would you do a video of when the NWO sponsored a Busch Series car?
Oh.
I mean, maybe keep it in the back of my mind.
Nice. I don't know what NWO is. That sounds cool.
I just seen AB in the chat ask what's on my shoulder. It's because I'm the points leader.
Yeah.
Acknowledge him.
Acknowledge him.
Austin Blancett says, is Dr. Jerry Punch a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
You can't put everyone in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I
Jerry.
can't. Yeah.
At least not until YouTubers get in there.
Right.
Hey, we got 5 right here.
Yeah, we got 5 Hall of Famers right here.
We can have our own. We can have our own little room. They'll give us the Coke.
We'll make
closet.
our own hall.
Yeah.
We
I'll
totally don't have egos.
It is.
I'll go.
It's sad how many people thought that we were actually serious about that.
Jared, show
know,
off your
bro.
Jared, show off your plaque. You already have. Jared already has a plaque.
Right, that's the flag and
my,
stuff.
what, my perfect attendance one?
Oh my god.
There it is.
Ooh.
There it is.
Don't
I'll
have
so
say.
egos.
much
One's
crap in
holding the
this
belt.
I'll say like maybe he like gets like one of the broadcasting awards or something. I
Yeah,
don't
there you go. That probably is more realistic. I don't know. Jake Alcorn actually had a pretty good time for my first race at Phoenix, but also went in with realistic expectations. Not bad though. Venue was booming. Go Vols. There you go, Danny.
Go
know.
Balls.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
Mustard Tiger says throw up some temporary grandstands at Irwindale and let them rip. Stadium races aren't it. I think certainly they don't need any more stadium races in LA. I think that's right, of course.
Yeah.
You can do it elsewhere, not in LA. Never Was Cool sent another 10. I do think NASCAR is missing out on fans on the West Coast by not finding more tracks in California or going up to Seattle. The West Coast swing should be a big thing again.
Yeah, Seattle. I've always been interested in that. They got a pretty good racing scene out there.
Yeah,
in
I would
Washington.
love to see a
They
race,
race
a cup
at-
race.
They
Yeah,
race at Portland.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the Xfinity Series does.
So it'd be cool to bring the Cup cars into the Pacific Northwest. It's just such a logistical nightmare, I think, for those teams. If they could tie it into the West Coast swing, if they don't do Sonoma, maybe they could do something up there. I would love to see that. Austin Bland said, this is a hot take. We don't need exhibition races anymore.
I'd be okay with that.
I saw Elite Precision 29's video on that, and yeah, I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the All-Star race would be kind of sad to lose, but the Clash is sort of just, it doesn't really have an identity at this point. It's just there.
Every race feels like the All-Star race. I mean, what's
Yeah.
different about it except
Well-
we don't give points out and it's shorter?
That's a fair point. And I also think the $1 million check at the end doesn't have as much weight to it as it did, partially because let's just say inflation, I guess. But also it's like, I don't know how much money is involved in the sport these days. $1 million. Yeah, I don't know. Like do we ever
for Dale.
like Kyle Larson won the All-Star race last year? Did he show up the next week with a Rolex watch and like some crazy outfit? Like, no, he's just Kyle Larson. Nothing changed. I mean, he has more money in the bank. His kid's going to be live a nice life. Got plenty of money to raise his family. Like, that's all it is. It's
You know,
not. It just doesn't.
He has enough money now to pay him to pull the spoiler after the race.
Chris McIntyre says, race in San Fran. Do the Circuit de Bullet, a street race to honor the greatest. I see. A street race to honor the greatest car chase in movie history. Otherwise, new thought, beach race.
My god.
That's an
Beach
old
race.
thought. The NASCAR used to race on the beach. That's a bring it back. That's a throwback.
Throwback for sure.
What?
Go back to its roots.
Going back to the All-Star race one, what if they increased the purse by the amount of inflation America had that year? Like just each year, we just increase it
God.
with inflation, so it still means the same thing, but the number looks bigger.
Yeah.
And then they did the one thing where it actually went down to 900,000 and the like winning pit crew got 100,000 or the fastest pit crew got 100K. So like they've even, if anything, sort of lowered it sometimes in recent years. I don't know. Another question about the All-Star race. Tyler McGonigal says NASCAR should use the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro to try higher horsepower. It's always been experimental. Why not do that again? It could prove them right. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to see that. Try Nitro Tulane man. Don't know how to pronounce them. Sorry. For Phoenix, what if we decrease the banking and widen turns 1-2 to make the track unique? I'm sure no track owners ever thought of that. Okay, I was sarcastic. It took me a second. I'm pretty sure they were being sarcastic. That I was for a second. I'm like, what is he talking about? Wait a second. Okay, that's funny. I like that. I'm gonna leave that a heart because I can do that now. A Prada, thanks for the 2. Alan Bestwick for 2025. The GOAT needs to return. I already left that one a heart. I saw that one earlier.
I wouldn't mind
Absolutely
that.
agree.
Yeah.
Joseph Knuckles. Hey, Danny, how do you like the big blue sat? I tried to tell you. Also going to Bristol this week. Hope the fans show out and really make the atmosphere.
The,
Was the Big Blue Sat?
oh,
Saturday?
Kentucky, they beat Tennessee. But hey,
Oh.
we each traded a
Aw.
win on each other's turf, so it only counts in tournament play anyway. So
Yeah.
and we already got the number one seed locked up, so it didn't matter.
Haha.
We still have a ton of super chats. We're getting through them. I appreciate you all sticking with us. Sly Supersonic, did anyone see NBC's Dale Sr. Kyle Busch Bristol post yesterday? That was so funny, especially since Kyle actually responded to it and NBC agreed.
No, I didn't see it.
I saw the original
I
post.
saw it. Yeah.
I didn't
So-
see Kyle's response. What did he say?
I
He
think
said
I think
neither
Kyle,
would make it to the finish.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably correct.
Nah.
Yeah, the question was like 10 laps at Bristol in an equal car, Earnhardt versus Busch, who wins?
Oh,
I
okay.
found that nobody under the age of 18 would say Earnhardt, which was pretty telling.
I actually agreed with what Kyle Busch himself said. Neither
Yeah.
one of them finished the race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd pay money to see that though.
That'd
Yeah.
no,
be great.
absolutely.
I'd,
Who's
I-
your film?
Third would win.
Yeah, that's probably true. Hoosier Films says Eric Howe is Truex seventh in your power rankings. He's second in points, first in laps led, has been first in every race at some point, and hasn't finished worse than 15th. His best finish is also seventh. Like, I mean, the first race where I felt like he could actually win was Phoenix, and they butchered the pit strategy, arguably.
Badly.
So, I think Truex in the top 10 is fair. Maybe he should be higher than seventh, but I mean, who am I going to put him ahead? Am I going to put him ahead of Bell? No. Bell's shown that he can dominate a race. Truex hasn't shown that yet. So I got Truex seventh. I think that's fair, but he'll probably keep moving up if he keeps running well. Fred Dog, I acknowledge Danny B, my tribal chief points leader. Hunter Nixon Fishing, with words like lit and dog in him that Harvick has used the last few weeks, that pink millennial car he drove in 2019 wasn't so far-fetched now. That's pretty true. If they need more ideas, just go look back at that paint scheme and he'll have ideas for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Daniel sent 5. Both RCR cars will finish worse than 20th. Bush's luck is gone at Bristol. Look at the results. And Austin is Austin. Damn.
Damn. Austin is Austin.
Yikes.
Austin's gonna Austin.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I'll see that, but I'll raise you. Kyle Busch is still Kyle Busch.
That's a boom.
Mm.
Boom.
Got him. Like dislike says race in the LA River. It's got banking. Isn't that just like a dry like canal basically?
Yeah.
Except for
Is
the
that a
middle.
joke?
Yeah.
Corner.
Napa racing fan. When will the fairgrounds replace Spring Bristol? Maybe never. If this race actually packs the house like it might be this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
we'll
this a
find another
random
race.
thing I wanted to address? Someone asked if we ever thought about making NWP its own channel. Honestly, no. I think we all just kind of like rotating amongst our channels, honestly.
Yeah.
We've had
we've
some
been doing it
ideas
a while.
for like some shared uploads and stuff from the show. We've been too lazy to put them in motion, but maybe someday.
It's harder than you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and
Uh,
Darian tried it for like 2 months, and it was like, holy Jesus, running. It's like running not one channel; it's like running 2 more channels.
Plus, I work full time doing someone else's channel, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like impossible for me.
Believe it or not, we have lives, folks. Sorry.
We do.
Garabuki says, another week of racing complete. Another week I can hardly believe my eyes when I see that 77 running top 15. Side note, wonder if you could get Carson on the show sometime. Hopefully.
We follow
Maybe.
each other, probably.
Yeah.
How badly did we crap on him after the Phoenix truck finale last year? That's all I always worry about.
Hey,
I'm
surprised.
He's fair. He knows we're fair.
That's
about
good.
it.
That's good. Yeah.
I
No, I'd love
mean,
to have Carson on.
he knew right there in the moment he was wrong. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised I
Uh,
didn't get blocked the way I shot on him.
Nah, he's a good.
But
He knows
Bowman
how to take
blocked
a
me.
joke.
I didn't say a damn thing about him.
Host of our is pretty chill. I think he gets it. Daylight Pacific Northwest Productions. You guys going to sponsor a car this year?
Eric technically already has.
Have I?
Yeah,
I guess I've had my logo on a
truck.
truck.
Yeah. So you already have basically.
A little bit on
Hey,
faction. Yeah. What we did last year, Jarrett's showing it off on the Live Fast 78. I don't know that we'll be able to top that.
nah.
Never say never, but
Never say never. That was a perfect storm, was an awesome opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and really appreciate everyone sort of buying into that and supporting that
Thank you.
effort. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get another chance to do that this year, but maybe someday. We'll keep
Yeah.
at it. 2 final super chats. Really appreciate you guys sticking with us tonight. MBR says, bring Jet MDK back every week and 1,000 horsepower. Great stream tonight. Yeah, there you go, Jet. Man, you're winning some fans over
Yeah.
tonight. That's beautiful. Beautiful to
Nice.
see.
Thank you. I do
And-
apologize for the audio issues, but I appreciate that, Colin.
Hey,
Thank
It,
you.
it really wasn't too bad. It was here and there. It came and went, but
Yeah.
no, it's been good. Isaac, the Last Jedi, with the last super chat, says, anyone heard of the old Beverly Hills Speedway? Could be the new Auto Club. Could the new Auto Club track use a similar layout as that track?
Ooh, you know what? I should make a video.
Ooh.
I should make a video about that. That's interesting.
I forgot.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Maybe.
All right.
Then the answer is maybe. But
Yeah,
I know with
maybe.
Auto Club, they've talked about doing like a Richmond Martinsville hybrid, which okay, maybe. We'll see. That'll do it for tonight's NWP. You maybe our longest of the year. Really appreciate the host here sticking with me tonight. Jet, we know you're out of town. You got your remote setup. Really appreciate you sticking with us tonight. Always great to talk to you. Do you have any projects in the works, and where else can fans find you besides your YouTube channel?
Projects at the moment right now, no. Always got stuff in my head, things I want to do, but always trying to find the time to do it. For my socials, you can follow me everywhere on JetMDK on Twitter and Instagram, as well as TikTok. I was trying my best to make this work, because always once y'all gave me the opportunity, of course I was not going to miss this. So I thank y'all for letting me come on and deal with all this shit that I got around me.
Hey, you were great. We'll definitely have to do this again sometime soon. Really appreciate you being on. Jarrett, Darian, Danny, good talking to y'all as always. We will be back next week, 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, March 20th on Black Flags Matter. Am I not mistaken? Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. And we will have Ellie Productions on as our guest that week as well. So should be a great time. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you all after Bristol. Have a wonderful rest of your week, folks.
Yep. Goodbye.
Adios.
Knowledge,
Drivers!